G'day, guys. Welcome. Thank you for being here on your Sunday. I hope everyone's had a good weekend so far. I know for most people it is probably not far away from the end of their Sunday and another week of work coming up. So hopefully we can have some laughs at Lorne's expense to make that feel a bit better for everyone. We have a special guest with us today, which is Winnie's boyfriend/husband. So if you're still there, I will get you to say hello to everyone.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me on, Cornville.
No, any time. Nice to have you here. And so, as usual, today's stream art has been done by Winnie's boyfriend/husband. So you do great work, and I get a lot of people commenting how much they like it. So thank you once again for doing that, and it's another great one today.
Oh no, thank you.
Now I don't know if everyone's. I've seen a few people in the chat talk about. So Lorne has a new RSO pick, which I think is quite funny. He looks pretty shit. Like he looks he looks older than the last one, certainly.
Just pulled it up.
Did you? Nice.
He looks like if somebody made a candle of him and then it's like melting.
Exactly.
He just looks awful.
I think that's a good way to put it. And I love when you go into Google and you type in, main RSO, his name actually comes up underneath it. Underneath the main thing, like obviously he's that highly searched that he's
right.
So he's a very popular guy, our Lorne. So yeah, today we are going to do. Now I can't remember. I feel like maybe I did a video before I started live streaming on this call, but I mean it's such a good call. Who cares? I mean I reckon you could listen to this call, talk about this call once a week, and it'd still be good. And so what I'm talking about is obviously the Budlight Polygraph. I know it's one of your favourite calls, and it's got a bit of everything in terms of, it's got some Lorne crying, it's got some, he gets a bit angry, but it's got a lot of the typical Lorne logic, which makes absolutely no sense. A lot of the shit where blaming other people. So I think it'll be a lot of fun. But before we get there, I wanted to ask you, like I ask everyone, and I've been brought to my attention that I click my tongue a fair bit, which I'll really try to stop doing that because I'm sure that's annoying. But I just did one then, so I'll try to hold myself accountable there. How did you get into Lornography?
Well, I watched To Catch a Predator when it came out, and when it first came out, I was like Decoy's age. So it was something that my parents thought it would be a good thing for us to watch because, it showed, at that time going in the chat rooms, like what you should look for. Now, they weren't forcing me to do so, but I just always have these memories of going through and watching To Catch a Predator. So probably about 2-3 years ago, I just happened to be on YouTube, and for some reason, Lorne's full interview got recommended to me, the whole 20 minutes, the whole uncut. So I watched it, and I just couldn't get through it. I was just cringing so hard. It was so bad. Because I didn't really know anything about Lorne. You just, as we say all the time, his segment didn't make him look as bad as he really was. So you go down the Lorne rabbit hole from there, and I would see videos where they would have like snippets of his voice, like screaming, "I'm not Mr. Penis," and all this stuff. And I always wondered what that was from. And so I tried to Google like Lorne Armstrong phone calls, and then I found the great Babsy, and she was doing calls. And then I found Clobber. So it's just really been all downhill from there.
Yeah, fantastic. And I very similar to, in terms of how I found Lornography, like, Clobber and Great Batsby are probably my two biggest things. I wonder how many people they are responsible for getting into this community. I mean, especially Clobber, he must be one of the first channels that comes up. And I'm sure I've said this before, but so I found Clobber's channel first, but then at that point I couldn't understand much what was going on. Much like you were saying there, kind of, you hear the catchphrases and that, and then if you're in a chat, people would have all these different catchphrases. I'm like, what the hell does all this mean? But then about the same time I came in, like Great Batsby, her channel was pretty young. I think maybe she only had 7 or 8 videos out, and so that was a really easy way for me to learn everything, because it was almost like she was doing the same thing I was. Like, she was going through doing all these calls in their infancy and that. So it was pretty cool. And so you go, mate.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's just probably the first call I listened to was "Go fuck your fucking cocksuckers," and I couldn't believe that because I didn't know anything about Lorne. I couldn't believe how he was talking to this woman. And then obviously that's par for the course for Lorne.
Yeah, and I honestly can't remember what my my first call was. Very early into it, I listened to Bass Sharman's recording of the Holy Logography, and that was where I first realised this guy's way worse than what I thought he was, based on what I saw on To Catch a Predator.
Exactly.
And then I was listening to the calls, but I couldn't make out are these actual are these catfish? Are these actual? Because I thought maybe somehow people were recording him, and I'm like with a real girlfriend. And I'm thinking, how has this guy gotten a girlfriend, and why is he talking like this? So it was very bizarre, but yeah, you learn pretty quick what's all happening. And so is he a virgin or not, in your opinion?
Oh, 100%. I mean, it's like how we say where the more you listen to Lorne, the more awful he is.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody were just see him, he's nearly 50, you would assume he would have had to have sex at some point.
Yep.
But the fact that he doesn't know anything about sex, he doesn't know what a vagina looks like. He says he thinks women have 8 clits.
Yep.
It's just insane what he believes. So I don't think that he hasn't had any sort of sexual encounter, but I don't think he's ever had sex.
No. Look, I agree. I mean, obviously, I've said it many times. I'm a firm believer that he's a virgin, but I don't. You would just think the odds are he's had some kind of interaction, especially being in the army and that for however long. I mean, like I say, I've said before, even though he was in the army, he was surrounded by a lot of other people in the army, and he's not going to be your choice. But he just knows nothing. And the stories he does tell are too fanciful. Like the ones he's told about, the lady with one breast and, having sex on the rocks near a brook and all this kind of stuff. Like that didn't happen. So putting out even without all the other evidence that he hasn't had sex, if you had a sex story to tell, you would tell it, because those ones you're telling didn't happen. I can guarantee that. Especially
right, and it changes all the time.
Yeah, it changes all the time.
Every story changes.
It changes all the time. He talks about that lady with the one breast that he had sex with on Tony's bed. Tony won't let him piss inside. He's not going to let him fuck someone on his bed. That
absolutely
didn't happen. Yeah. No. That's interesting. Hopefully, obviously, I want people to say what they actually think, but I'm hoping one time we have someone on and they're like, no, I think he has had sex, because that would be an interesting debate. But I mean, I don't know how many people out there believe that.
I would honestly be astounded if he was not a virgin. It's just every story about the 2 women in Nashville. It was the day before, and then it was 2 days before. The air mattress was deflated or broke, and one of them was on it. And then there was the one where he was driving around in a track with people around Nashville. It just, none of it makes any sense. And obviously Lorne's a liar. So he said, that he was with Paula, and that he felt 2 clits, and then later on he tells Tiffany they didn't have sex, or I believe it was Tiffany. So he's a liar. So it would, like I said, I'd be astounded if he was not a virgin. Yeah,
absolutely. All right, let's just say hello to everyone in the chat, and then we'll crack into this call. Hey, so g'day, wardrobe malfunction. It's a new name. I like it. Kathy Mac, good to see you. David G, Michael Rodriguez, Dan Jones, DJ Payne 1, Evil Little McNuggets, Johnny M, Volvo Racing Drive Hard, great name. Pee-wee is great. Was up 3-way? Not much, mate. Happy to be here. Whoopie Pie, Sadface09, Spencer Silvera. Who have I missed? Mandy S. Hello, Mandy S. I'm sure I said hello to you, James Dean. If I already did, welcome for the second time. Greg, not a whole lot. Kingpin, Bellrelica 1, Darren Georgetown, Uncle Touchy, Cornville Counsellor, David Clements. Who have I missed? Cornville Counsellor, Rachel D. I think I already said hello to you. Hey Boo. Hey Boo. Freddie Stone. Shins Koala. G'day Shins Koala. Good to see you as always. Congratulations for getting through that monstrosity of a book you guys did this morning. That was a real effort. It was an effort listening to it, so it must have been an effort getting through it. I hope I haven't missed anyone. Oh, Winnie's boyfriend /husband's in the chat. He's everywhere.
I see Michael Rodriguez put in, he admitted to be a virgin. If it's the call I'm thinking of, he was pretty drunk, and in my opinion, he said that sarcastically to Winnie, because she had said, like, oh, do you know what sex is? And he was like, nope, I'm a virgin. But then it seemed like he was joking. So if there's another call, Michael, and you know which one it is, I'd happily listen to it.
I think I do know what it... So there is a call he had with Jamie Amy when Jamie Amy's the robot. And, she's pressing him to tell, sex stories and all this kind of stuff. And that's where he tells the story about, fucking the chick in the brook and all next to the brook and all this kind of shit. But there is a call where basically she's like, pressing him, you are a virgin. And he's like, oh, yeah, baby, I'm your virgin. And I think he's saying, like, in his defense, I think he's saying it as in, like, he thinks that's attractive. Like, he's basically saying, no, I'm not a virgin, but I'm a virgin for you, baby, that kind of shit.
Right, I'm yours. Like,
exactly. Yeah. And I think, too, he's defeated on it. Like, he knows that he is. He knows no one's going to believe that he's had sex. So it's just kind of like, yeah, almost like a yeah, whatever. You know what I mean? You're going to say it anyway. But, I mean, that's my take on it. But like I always say, it's like everything with Lorne. Everyone can have their own take because he's such a liar. We don't know. All you've got to do
We'll never know.
All you got to do is, sum it up yourself and see. Pee-wee is great. Thinks that you're actually on a voice changer and you're a woman and nothing will convince him otherwise. Something like that he said. So, I don't know. He's pretty. It's a good voice changer if he is. Pee-wee is great.
Well, as we know in, the chronology of lornography, everybody has voice changers and they're amazing.
Exactly. Yeah. And I mean, I didn't realise until I got into this just how good they are. So I'm looking forward to getting one myself one day just so I can fuck with people because that, you can't tell the difference, can you? Maybe
you could fuck with Lawron. You could be the next catfish.
Maybe I could. I mean, Lawron was trying to strangle arm an Australian into being the next catfish. So maybe if I get one of those, I can be an Australian woman and make two people happy at the one time. Not that I've got any interest in making
you could be a second Sheila.
Happy. I could be another Sheila. I definitely couldn't do a better job than Miss Winelover did, but I could give it a red hot crack. Dubsy CC, sorry I missed you before, and a couple of others I missed. Lulu Bop 19, Michael Ross, Camp Vogel, Amy A. Ramirez. Cool. All right, are you good? Should we crack in?
Oh yeah, let's go.
Let's do it to it.
Hello, beautiful woman.
Hello.
Oh God, I love hearing your voice.
How's it going?
It is going. Sadie, come here.
He has to remind Tiffany of the dogs.
Exactly. Like, I mean, this is, I think as Shin says all the time, they're pedo props, and I mean, obviously, right. Debbie's not a child, but it's the same kind of thing. It's the, hey, I'm a good guy, listen to me talk to my dogs, you know what I mean?
Right, and I agree with you that I do think he loves his dogs, but that doesn't mean he treats them the right way. But they're really just props for all of his catfish to show, like, I'm a great guy. Look at me, I feed them. They sleep on my bed. That's spoiling them, right? It's like,
in my opinion on the dogs, much like you say, it's right in that grey area. Like, I don't think he is intentionally abusive or anything like that to them, and I think they could, he is not yet, and I also don't think he's great to them. You know what I mean? He's right in that great area. He's as good good to them as he can be to anyone or anything. I don't think he has the capacity to be truly good to anyone. But this is, he is doing his best. But then, you can't ignore the fact that he's screaming all the time. And I mean, it comes up in this call, so I won't talk about it too much because we'll talk about it when it comes up. But he keeps talking about how Sadie is skittish. Well, it's not helped by the fact that you're always screaming. And he says stuff when that's addressed to him about, well, I'm not screaming at her. Well, a dog can't differentiate that.
Nope.
Sadie's not going to sit there and go, oh, he's screaming again, but hey, it's not at me, so la-di-da-da-da. But he's just, I don't think he is capable of understanding that. Yeah. But I think you said before we even started this call, this call starts shit. It's straight into the hello, beautiful lady and that, and we both agree we fucking hate hearing him happy. And,
yes.
G'day, Crocker Jones and Lorne's little asshole.
You go, pretty girl. You hungry? You're so silly. There you go. I'll leave her in here. She's so skittish. She's very skittish.
How long have you had her?
I've had her for almost 4 years now.
And she's still
And
skittish?
every now and then she's skittish around me.
Oh, well, what do you do?
Feed her. Give her dog biscuits. Give her food.
That's not spoiling your dogs.
No, that's basic needs, isn't it?
What do you do to, what she asked is, what do you do to make her skittish and scared? And he goes, I feed her. He can't even answer that question. He needs to try to use that to show, again, how great he is to his dogs.
Exactly. Yep.
She must be scared about something.
I don't know who it was that she had for owners before, but they must have really had pieces of shit, really.
And look, I've had friends who I've never had a rescue dog myself, but I've had friends that have had rescue dogs, and they've come from really bad situations, and they are I've got one for I know for a fact they're the kind of people that they treat their dogs better than they treat themselves. Yeah. So but they're still skittish now. I think especially if a dog is young, and I'm no expert, but they will never get over that. So I'm not saying because they're, Sadie's still skittish 4 years on, that's directly his fault. But certainly the screaming all the time and slamming things is not going to help the situation.
No, I was going to say, my wife works at a shelter. We foster animals all the time, and it doesn't mean that they've been abused in the past. That just could be their personality. But it 100% doesn't help to be throwing things around your trailer, kicking your doors down, throwing knives like he does in the one call, screaming. It's just awful for those dogs. And like Shin says, I've never heard a call where he says he's taken them for a walk. He lives on a back road. He could easily walk them up and down, but he just lets them sort of run around his yard when somebody comes over to kind of show them off.
And the crazy thing is, because the biggest part of his life is talking to these catfish. He's got that fucking headset that never comes off. He could be doing both. He could be walking his dogs.
Exactly.
And still talking to his catfish. But he is pretty lazy. And look, as Shin says, Shin loves animals and his mother. Clearly he's a good guy. They're the two things you got to do to be a good guy. So
he's checked both those boxes off.
Yeah, absolutely. So good for you, Shin. I always knew you were a good guy, and that just confirms it. And g'day, edamame. No worries. Thank you for being here. It's not much of a stream if no one's here. So, and it's a pleasure to stream with you guys. So I don't need to be thanked, but I appreciate that anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I've been really sweet to her and everything. Mom comes over. She even has a hard time coming up to Mom.
Yeah.
Not to Mom.
But
Yeah, and I don't even really get what he's saying there. She wouldn't. He barely sees his mum, despite what he says. We've seen in the past, how their relationship is, but Sadie would barely see her. So just because I know, his mum's an angel, but Sadie's not going to realise that. So I don't even get what his point is. And
it doesn't make any sense.
No. And g'day, Hardcore Poetry and C. Morgul. Yes, you are one of those weirdos, but you're in good company, so don't worry about that. The Combat Mechanic, g'day, what up? And also Chuck Norris is my uncle. That's a new name. Welcome to the stream.
After this long, she has her moments. Most of the time, she's really good, and she'll come out and she's just happy as hell that I'm home. So she wants her biscuit, and she runs right back into the bedroom to eat her biscuit, and she's all happy and shit. And she's got other times where she's just really skittish.
Do you think she senses when you've had a couple of drinks?
I'm not answering that.
Sorry, mate.
Oh, sorry, I was just answering Tiffany's question. Yes, she can sense when he's drinking.
Yeah, absolutely.
She probably senses it, because I remember when you would talk to Winnie, you guys would be screaming at each other when you were drunk. So she probably is scared of that.
She probably is.
Yeah. So cut the shit out.
I don't know that.
Well, knock it off.
Yes, ma'am. But I'm not screaming.
Well, not right now.
No, not at the moment. You have, and the dogs are in the house. So they can probably smell the alcohol, and she's like, uh-oh, here we go. Something's going to happen. He's going to start yelling, throwing things, whatever happens.
You're probably right.
Of course I am. I know everything.
Yeah, good. And you?
Yeah.
You know how to not go on a date tonight?
Oh, fuck off, Lorne.
Yeah.
He always has to bring it back around to their relationship. Like, it can't go too far away from it. Like, that's all he thinks about.
Yep.
And he just has to always bring it back around to that. Like, whose penis is going in her vagina? That's all he cares about.
Absolutely, 100%. He doesn't give a fuck about anything else. And I think this kind of stuff, it is on his mind all the time. Like, that is all he thinks about. And on top of that, he has this insane idea that everyone is always fucking, you know what I mean? Like, no one, like, he talks about if you're going on a date, like, he couldn't foresee that someone might just go on a date, or not even a date, someone might go out to have a meal with a friend, and that doesn't end up with fucking. Like, he's crazy. Like, he is crazy. I mean, he's just, and I don't know if it's his lack of life experience, or I think, as I've said before, my thought is it's just that is how his brain works. Like, if he is putting any amount of effort into a female, as he calls them, sex is expected. You know what I mean?
And for some reason, he thinks, like, the remedy to that is make sure you're on your phone all night. Because if you're on the phone, then you clearly can't be fucking somebody. Like,
exactly. Like, I mean, and you think of the countless calls. I mean, always springs to my mind one of the Ramona calls when the doctor comes over and she's like, I'll be right back. I've just got to go talk to him for 10 minutes. He's like, no, stay on the phone. Like, as if in that 10 minutes they're going to fuck. So if they're on the phone, they can't be fucking. Like, it's...
Sorry, I love in that call where Ramona's like, no, we wouldn't need 10 minutes. We need 10 hours. And that winds him up so much. Yeah,
it does. And the thing is, like, the crazy thing about all this is, like, he says stuff like, oh, you know, stay on the phone so you're not fucking, you know, I can tell you're cheating on me. Like, these people, even in his, I mean, they're obviously catfishing him, but even if these are real women talking to him, he cannot account, like, they could be cheating on him every day. He would never know. They're not, like, he can't be on the phone to them all the time. But he just, oh, man. Like, sometimes I think, why do I bother trying to figure him out?
I know, but...
It's fun. It's fun.
Yes.
So,
I am so clever.
I've been waiting to talk to you
Lorne.
all day.
You what?
I've been waiting to talk to you all day.
I've been waiting to talk to you all day.
Good.
I'm so sorry. I got over there with Tony and Winnie, and we got to talking
And drinking.
And talking.
And drinking very heavily.
No, we weren't drinking heavy.
Yeah, okay. How many did you have? Don't lie. Don't lie.
Without lying, I'm going to say, well, I've been over there since what?
That doesn't matter, Lorne. I hate when he brings up that he's been someplace for so long.
Yep. As in terms of, you know, basically it doesn't matter how much I've drank because I've been there for that long? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, Yeah, it's like because I think the time frame here, because he says he's been there since noon. I think it's like 8 or 9 o'clock, but nine beers over 9 hours is a lot of beer still. Like
Yep.
you're drinking a beer an hour. That doesn't leave your system every 45 minutes and then you drink again. Like he's very drunk driving home.
Exactly, and there is no way he is... I mean, later in this call, or it might have just happened, but in any case, in this call, when pressed for how much he had, he says, 9 beers. There's no way it was 9 beers. Like,
He brought over
no
two
way.
12-packs.
That's right.
Like, they had to have at least split them. Like,
He would just be drinking back to back, or like the drinking equivalent of chain smoking. He'd be opening one as he finishes the other one.
right.
And like you say, even if it was 9, in that amount of time, he would still be over the limit. But the biggest thing about all of this is he's not allowed to drink any alcohol. He's not allowed on his probation to drink any alcohol. So he, goes on and on about he doesn't drink this much and that. Well, not much is too much, But he does. But the more important thing is the drink driving, because this motherfucker will probably kill someone one day doing this.
Hopefully not, but most likely.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully not. But it's just sheer luck and the fact that he lives in a fairly rural area that it hasn't happened. Like, could you imagine this guy in a city? Like, I'm trying to think of US places that are fairly highly, I mean, if he was in New York or something, I don't know, somewhere where you still drive, but the roads are pretty busy, he'd be a nightmare.
It just shocks me how he says that he can't live the life he wants to in Maine. You got it golden up there, dude. Like you live in the middle of nowhere. Your aunt and uncle gave you a trailer. You don't ever get caught drinking and driving. Now, thankfully, he went to jail on a probation violation finally after years. But he doesn't understand really for his situation how good he has it.
Exactly. Like he's never understood how good he's had it, and how lucky he is, really.
I've had nothing.
You did what?
I'm so shy, Debbie.
This is one of the most ridiculous things he's ever said. That he's so he's lying. Like, that's what the real thing is. But to go, I'm shy. Like, that's
and yeah, he's trying to be cute about it again, and this reminds me of the let's find out where Lorne says no call, where he's saying over and over again, he's saying no. And then Tiffany says, all right, well, let's go and find where I'm going to pull the chat log up. And then he starts squeaking all happy. Oh, do you have the chat log right on your computer? And she's like, no. And then he goes, do you have a folder named Lorne? And he's so happy if she did. Lorne, if she had a folder on her computer, it's about the times that you tried to molest a child. Like, why are you excited about that?
exactly. Like, he just, it's just bizarre the way he takes, I guess, tries to view forms of affection and stuff. It's really fucking weird. And g'day, Lee Greer's evil twin Eoreg. No, this is not the Silent Rick call. I have found the Silent Rick call, but it has a lot of music in it, so I need to try to remove that before I can stream it, because I will be taken down midstream if I try to play it. So it's coming.
I don't want you to ask me questions like that.
Why?
Because I don't.
Because you're ashamed? There's a
Well,
difference
because
between being shy and ashamed.
Yeah, but I also looking out for myself too.
Hey, David G.
Well, I already know that you've been drinking. And I already know that you drove home. So why don't you just say how many you had?
Yeah, Evil Little Wing Nuggets. We're actually having a chat about his new RSO pick before. It's pretty horrifying. As Winnie's boyfriend / husband said, it looks like he's melting.
You're not recording me, are you?
I have no interest in recording you.
Okay, because I'm used to people recording me,
Okay,
and I hate that, and it's illegal anyway.
great.
I probably had. Let me see.
The fact
Maybe
you
9.
have to think about how much you had to drink
Maybe
is not
9.
a good thing.
100%. And what he's really doing here, in my opinion, is he's trying to come up with a number that is not too bad in his mind, but also believable. Like, if he knows,
Right.
if he's told her he's there all day, he knows if he says, oh, I only had 2 or 3, she's going to be like, bull fucking shit. So I think he thinks that, like, he's stalling to buy time. I think he thinks that 9 is not awful, even though it is if he's driven, but it's like not awful, but it's also somewhat believable. There's no way that it's 9. And David Gees, no mate, you drink to my videos as much as you like. Just don't go driving if you drink too much. Like everything, you can do anything because you're that's legal because you're not Lorne. You don't have probation that says you can't drink, so cheers, mate. Bottoms up.
Times what?
Yeah. But it's been since 12:30 since I talked to you.
And also, coming from an Australian, drinking's pretty much our national pastime. So far be it from me to tell anyone they shouldn't do it.
It
Just
doesn't
a very
matter.
when I left the test,
Yeah.
you're the first one that I texted.
Okay.
I didn't text anybody else. You're the first one I texted.
How sweet.
Yeah, like that makes up for you driving drunk. It's like, oh, well, but I called you first, so why would you care if I did something bad later?
Exactly, and it's, but when he says it, it's like he's always shocked that it doesn't go down well. It's like he thinks he says this, and Debbie would be like, "Oh, Lorne, geez, you're a great guy. Don't even worry about the drink driving. Just forget about it. Who am I to question you?" And g'day, not a whole lot. I'm aware, guys, that my lawn is no better than when I first started this. I really work on it, but I don't think I'm ever going to be able to do a good lawn. And Brandon.export, welcome, sir.
How special.
Well, I thought it was special because I wanted you to be the first one to know.
Okay.
Well, from there, I went to Tony's. So whatever time it was, which was, it had to be like 12:30.
Yeah.
I got at Tony's.
So?
Exactly, Debbie.
So in that time, there was 2 12-packs. But Tony drinks a lot more than I do. I can't.
But Tony doesn't drive, and Tony's not on probation with a condition that he can't drink.
Right. Like, how does the fact that Tony drinks more than you any factor in you driving home?
Exactly.
I can't even hold a candle to Tony. He drinks a lot more than I do.
Well
Does
done.
he
I'm
split the
saying I
cost
probably
with
have.
you?
That's why I'm. You talked to Winnie about that shit, didn't you?
Well, I already know. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. No, he didn't.
That sucks, man.
Yeah. Well, you'd be more pissed off about what I would tell you next if I knew you wouldn't get pissed off about it.
What?
Because I get pissed off. I get pissed off about it, and I thought that's enough. Let me get pissed off about it, and I'll send my text to Tony with my smart ass remarks. And
What happened?
oh yeah.
And this is his really childish manipulation. Like, in a lot of ways, all of his stuff is very, very childish. Like, this is the kind of thing that kids do where they know they're going to be in trouble, but they kind of, and ah about it, put their head down and be like, oh, I don't want to tell you, you'll be mad with me. So hopefully, their parents say, look, mate, we can work through whatever it is. Just tell us and you won't be in that much trouble. But he's an adult.
He did it with Ramona, too. Like, I don't know why he tells us to his catfish. Like, well, I'd tell you the next thing if I knew I wasn't going to get my ass reamed out for it. It's like, don't say anything, Lorne. Like, he says that so that then they can ask and then he can try to play it off as sympathy. Exactly.
Like, you're an adult. You don't get to have these excuses anymore. You do something wrong, you pay the penalty, or you're held accountable, whatever it is. It's bullshit. And g'day, the large Father Tron. Great to see you. Been really enjoying your streams lately. So thanks for being here.
Someone else came over, another friend of Tony's in Wendy's, and they drank, I don't know, 2 or 3 or 4. I don't know. It was.
Exactly.
And if you're not subscribed to the large Father Tron, you guys should all do that. He's very good. And sorry, mate, you go. I interrupted you.
No, I was just agreeing with Shin's comment that Tiffany's totally going to get angry at Wendy for keeping the last beer from Lorne. I mean, that is what Tiffany is going to be really mad at in this situation, not the fact that he drank against his probation and then drove home.
100%, yeah. And it is crazy. Like, Shins makes a good point, as he always does. He throws that in as if that's going to change anything. And if it means anything, like, who cares? I mean, we all know that they use you because you will bring them alcohol. That's the only form of friendship you have. And you're going to take it because you've got no other friends. Like, it's just ridiculous.
And totally, hey boo, they definitely warn their guest if Lorne's coming over or is over. It has to happen.
Absolutely. And I imagine it's much along the lines of, oh, look, Lorne's coming over, so you don't have to come if you don't want, but he's bringing a whole heap of beer, so if you want some free beer, hang out and put up with this fucker.
He must have drank 3, and he left the last 3 there for Tony.
Okay.
And the last 12 pack that I bought was gone, and Tony already had 1 out of 3 that the other guy left. So when Tony was done his and I was done mine, I grabbed the other 2, and I was going to drink one of Tony's, one of the other guys that the other guy left, and Tony was going to have the other one. Wendy didn't like that. Wendy wanted the last 2 to be left for Tony. She didn't want me to have any of it, even though they didn't fucking buy even a lick of fucking beer. I get pissed off at it because I buy him fucking beer all the fucking time.
Well, why did she not want you to have it?
Because she's a selfish bitch.
Isn't it funny how we've now gotten away from talking about him driving drunk?
Mm.
You know, now we're 2 vortexes away.
Exactly. You know, and it's just like, this doesn't matter. This means nothing. I mean, they treat you like shit. You know this. I mean, you have been told this by your numerous catfish girlfriends that you shouldn't go over there, that they're only using you for beer. And so now he's basically telling them back a story, confirming what they've already said, expecting them to be like, oh, Lorne, poor baby, you know, that's so awful that they're like that, to try to get out of this. Which really, what they, you know, what should be getting said to him is, no shit, dickhead. Like, congratulations for proving everyone right.
Yeah, she's fucking stupid. I mean, she's on fucking disability. She doesn't want to work. She doesn't want to get out of her fucking chair.
Coming from the guy who spent all of last year on unemployment.
I only tolerate her because...
100%. Really good point. This is someone that barely works unless he absolutely has to. And like you said, was quite proud to sit on unemployment. But what does that matter if she sits there? It's her house. If whether or not she's on unemployment, whether work, that's an issue between herself and Tony. If they're happy with it, that's their decision. It's got nothing to do with Lorne. You know?
And you don't live the lavish lifestyle on disability. It's not like they're raking in thousands of bucks. He makes it seem like, you know, they're sitting on a golden pot, and poor Lorne, you know, they won't let him drink the last beer.
And then he says, I don't know if he just said it or he says it shortly, but it's right around here where he talks about, oh, you know, she sits there, you know, completely sober, with the implication being that she should drive me home because she's the only one sober. Like, I mean, it's your responsibility. If you go, he's no different to anyone else in the world. If you go somewhere, you make a choice. Either you stay there, you catch a cab home, or, you know, if you make that choice, you drive drunk and you deal with the consequences that come with that. Like, it's not anyone else's responsibility to look after little Lorne. Fucker.
I like Tony.
Did you guys have an argument or something?
I just fucking, you know, her brother was there, and I when she fucking said she wanted me to leave last 2 for Tony, what the fuck ever. I just fucking bought 24, and you don't want me to have one of these last 2 with Tony. So I just fucking grabbed my shit, and I fucking left my 2 empty, well, not 2, my empty pack of cigarettes there. And I fucking left, and Tony was coming out of the bathroom. He put his hand up and said, you leaving? I said, "You fucking right I am." And I fucking smacked his hand, and I said, "See ya." And her brother said, "You're not taking your cigarettes with you?" I said, "Nope, you can keep them." There wasn't anything in there.
Got him, Lorne.
Yeah, he sure showed them. I bet you they'll never do that to him again. You know, had left his cigarettes and his empty cigarettes, and I'll bet they'll be like, "Whoa, you know, we can't treat Lorne like this in the future, Wendy. Look at what happens."
Yeah. I'm so fucking pissed off at the way that they are.
Man, yeah, that sounds pretty shitty.
What are you doing?
Sitting down, listening to you.
Listening to me and everything I say. Which you probably already listened to it before.
What do you mean before?
And right here, this is like what you were saying before about, you know, do you have a folder on your computer and that? He's like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "Sitting here." So, listening to every word I say, as if she's like some little schoolgirl sitting there with her hands, you know, her hands under her chin, just soaking in everything Lorne has to offer. Like nothing about this call or anything Debbie has ever said to him suggests that, but he puts that in there. You go.
Oh, sorry. No, that was it.
Yeah. I mean, it's just ridiculous. She didn't say that. She didn't sit there, but it's like, you know, hanging on my every word, just like, you know, $100 calling card. "Oh, you must want to talk to me a whole lot." Like this...
He hears what he wants to hear.
Yep.
That's
exactly.
He takes what he needs to survive, basically.
Yeah, and that's a good point. And that is a large amount of this call. A large amount of this call is evidence of Lorne hearing what he wants to hear rather than what the actual truth is. Like when he thinks, you know, probation is looking out for him. They're not looking out for him, they're looking out for everyone else. But that's not the way he interprets it.
No, because you've heard me, you know, when I was with Winnie.
Well, I've heard you and Winnie, but I don't know all the details and stuff like that. I just would hear a lot of yelling and everything, so.
No, I don't know. I think when my happier days was when I was in Alaska in the Air Force and when I was in Washington State, where I had actual friends. Friends that fucking gave a fuck about each other.
Before he tried to fuck a kid.
Oh, yeah, all those kids. He says all the time when he was in Washington State, he was just around kids all the time. So, were those your friends, Lorne?
Well, that's right. And it's another example of how tone deaf he is. Like, he doesn't understand how disgusting and scary that sounds coming from a known pedophile. It's just because he has convinced himself that he's not that, despite all the evidence. He says this stuff all the time. "Oh, I love kids. I even loved kids when I was a child," and all that. Like, I don't want to hear the pedophile talking about his love for kids, but he can't.
No.
He can't see that.
It's really sad because that was a long time ago, right?
Yeah. That I've been around my brothers and I don't even fucking consider one of my brother's friends because he's just stuck on himself.
Were you upset today? Is that why you went over there to drink?
Oh, yeah. I was upset because I didn't do as well as I wanted to.
I love how Tiffany brings it back to drinking. Lorne thought he got away from it, and she just pulls him right back in.
Yep, she's the master. She's the master of getting him back on track in all of their calls, because he does. I mean, he does the same thing all the time and getting off track. In one sentence, she's right back to no. This is what we're talking about. It's very good, and here what he's talking about here is what does my head in the most about this call. So he has failed the polygraph because he lied about not drinking. So he's apparently so upset about obviously failing this polygraph because he's been drinking and he lied on that. So his answer to that is to go and get drunk.
And the point is, he says he didn't do as well as he wanted to. What he means is he didn't lie well enough.
Exactly.
You know, Lorne, just stop drinking. Like it's just like when he says in those other calls where, oh, I've passed the last 4. No, you've lied and haven't been caught the last 4. That doesn't mean you're a truthful person. So just stop drinking, Lorne. You don't have to lie, and you'll pass, and maybe get off probation, which will never happen. But, who knows?
That's it. At the very least, not go back to jail like he does very shortly. I think Shins has pointed out this call was a few weeks before he actually went back to jail, because
Amazing.
I'm guessing this failed test is where everything got into motion to send him back there. Because, I mean, obviously they can't just snap. Like, there's obviously a process that goes through, but I think this was the start of where this is all happening. Yet he just, at this point, he's just thinking, well, I've failed that, they'll be disappointed at me, and I hate going against something I signed. But he's already fucked. And g'day, Alison Kay.
I was upset with myself for failing.
I'm sure you were just nervous. I would be really, really nervous if I had to take a lie detector test.
Yeah, but I signed the contract that I wouldn't.
You did what?
I said I signed the contract that I wouldn't drink, and I hate going against things that I signed.
So they don't want you drinking at all, period.
It pisses me off because I don't have a problem. Well, I don't. If I'm not around Tony, I don't have a problem drinking.
And that's not true.
Stop. Jeez, that's not true. Like, like you've said before, if Lorne just recognized he was an alcoholic, then we wouldn't rag on him for it. But the fact that he grandstands like he's not an alcoholic, he doesn't drink, if it wasn't for Tony's fault. If that's the case, Lorne, don't go over Tony's. If that's the thing that's making you drink, you're not being dragged there. Just stop going. And in your mind, if that's what it is, then you'll stop drinking. But if he just recognized and actually did AA, I mean, I know he has stopped drinking apparently since, but he just needs to stop being so delusional.
Yeah, and he hates things he does, but he makes no effort whatsoever to change those. And that's the thing. If he was making effort, you can't hold that too much against him, and you can still hate him for everything he's done. But if, talking about the drinking, if he was actually trying to stop drinking, I mean, stopping drinking when you're an alcoholic is fucking hard, obviously. I mean, lots of people try and fail over and over, but you can't hold it against them for trying. But he doesn't try. He just thinks that, I don't like the outcome of this. So he doesn't, from a moral perspective, even though he talks about morals all the time, he doesn't give a fuck. He's got no morals. He doesn't see anything morally wrong with what he does. He hates the consequences of what happens with the things he's done wrong. Like, I firmly believe, like he talks about, and he talks about this later, about how he loves kids, he never want to hurt a kid. He doesn't care about hurting kids. He cares about the fact that it's sending to jail, and it cares about the fact that other people look at him as a bad person for doing that. If in some alternate universe it turned out that having sex with children wasn't illegal, and it was, people wouldn't jump down his throat for it, he would be doing it as much as he could. Like, he's got no moral objection to it.
No, and just like you said, like when it comes down to it, Lorne wants to do whatever he wants. But he also wants people to think of him as a great person. So even if he goes and molests a child, he drinks and drive, you're not allowed to say anything to Lorne about it. And he also wants you to think he's a great person. Yep. You know what would make you a great person, Lorne, is actually do those things that would make you, your reputation good. But the fact that he just wants to do whatever he wants, and then, like, as soon as he messes up in these catfish calls, he's always like, "Oh, you're kicking me for it. Like, we don't need to talk about that right now." It's like, yes, we do. He just wants to push it away so that it never comes back up. He wants you to think of him as a great person, and then let him do whatever he wants. Just like he said, he hates the consequences. He doesn't hate the fact that he does these things.
Absolutely. And g'day, Whitchert and Patrick.
So I can have one beer and just. I can have less than a fucking beer and leave it. I think Tony's part of my problem. But another problem is I go over there because nothing happens over there. I can go over there and I can talk and I can sit and I can drink. I don't wind up with stupid shit around me.
Well, yeah, wait a minute. You said you don't wind up with stupid shit around you, but you're talking about how it's not good for you to be over there, and he's not really a good friend to you. So it sounds like there is stupid shit by going over there. I mean, you may You may have fun, at first if you're just kind of hanging out. I mean, they're letting you over their house because you're giving them what they want.
Absolutely, Shin. I mean that. He exposed himself to Molly. I mean, he looks at he didn't do anything to the decoy because of everything that happened. He hasn't done anything. If the decoy was real, he did plenty of stuff to her in exposing himself to her, in making her experiment and that. He did the same stuff to Molly. And absolutely, I hope nothing I said there made anyone think that I don't think he's done anything. Absolutely. But he doesn't think he's done anything.
I would love to sit at home and have people just come over and bring me alcohol and then they go home. And I don't, if I'm getting something out of it, then I'm not really going to care that much if I'm really good friends with them. I mean, the other thing too is they let you drive home when you're drunk. And that's horrible.
Yeah, I know. And Wendy sits there fucking sober.
Well, I mean, she can do whatever she wants. She's at her house. But the fact is that, you're saying that it's great, that, it's a really good time going over there. It's a time for you to relax and unwind. But ultimately, really what it is you're spending money and then you're driving it over to their house and allowing them to drink it away with you. And then you put yourself at risk by then driving home when you know very, very well that you shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, I know. I got way too much to lose.
Yeah. But today, take for instance for today, you're saying that they have you sign a contract that you are not going to drink alcohol. Maybe they've seen that it's a problem for you. Maybe it's something that they have decided that it's going to be a lot easier to maintain your probation if you're not drinking, whatever the reason is. Maybe they do it to everybody. I don't know. But they've decided that you shouldn't be drinking. And then you made that promise. You signed.
All good, Shins. I wasn't sure. Like sometimes I just rabbit on and I lose track of what I say. So I just got worried that clearly I didn't think that. So no, I was just clearing that up. All good, buddy.
They have your signature. And all they would have to do really is turn that paper around to you and say, okay, are you drinking? After you've been arrested for DUI. And then what are you going to say then?
G'day, Hunt Cole.
I'm going to look pretty fucking ignorant.
You're going to look very fucking ignorant, especially if someone gets hurt in the meantime because of what you did.
Yeah.
That's going to be the worst case scenario is someone completely innocent is just driving down the road, walking down the road, and you come along and you're not able to drive like that, Lorne. I mean, you've been lucky so far, it sounds like, but the luck is going to run out.
I don't want to fucking hurt anyone.
Yeah. So how do you avoid hurting someone? How do you avoid hurting someone?
Yeah,
you don't do whatever behavior it is that's going to cause somebody to get hurt.
Then I lose any chance with you too.
You'll lose everything.
Why would you bring that back around, Lorne? Like, they're talking about the consequences of you potentially killing somebody, and the first thought you have is you'd lose somebody you've never met and have only talked to on the phone and really doesn't give two shits about you.
Exactly, and that is, I mean, all of that says, so that last 30 seconds says so much about him. He would hate it if he hurt someone, but he'll make he won't change anything to avoid that. And his biggest concern there would be that Debbie wouldn't talk to him anymore. Like, how fucking insulting. I mean,
Not the life that he potentially could have taken. It's, I might lose this person. Like,
it blows my mind. Like, I mean, when you think he can't get any lower, he says shit like that, and you add that to everything else, and you're just like, you are an absolute fuckstick, buddy.
Hey, Boo, yeah, that's right. When Lorne says he won't drink anymore, he's also saying he won't drink any less. That's exactly right.
Very good.
What are you going to do? What are you going to do for work? It's not like you work in an
Yeah, I know.
office where someone can give you a ride.
Yeah, I know.
So today, you're saying that you had to sign a contract. I'm assuming that this didn't just happen today. You've already had one that you weren't going to drink.
Yeah.
And so was the question that you failed, do you drink?
But how do I look to you? I can't go and fucking drink.
And this is
You gonna
crazy.
think I'm an
It is.
asshole because I can't go out and drink.
I'm going to think you're an asshole because you can't go out to drink, you mean? Like go to a bar or something?
Like I can't drink at all.
I mean, in a scenario where he's talking to someone that A, doesn't really like him that much anyway, but knows about, you know, the multiple times he's driven drunk, knows about the fact that he got caught on national television for trying to fuck a kid, knows about the MySpace girl, someone that knows all of this about him, he thinks that her biggest concern will be he can't drink. I mean, A, who would care if someone can't drink? But
Right.
who gives a fuck? Like this is stupid. This is fucking stupid.
This is the part of the call where Lorne really starts to, ramp me up when he
Yep.
says the next thing he's going to say.
Yeah, absolutely. And we won't spoil it, but I think everyone knows what's coming.
Yeah, you can't drink at all. Right. What's wrong with that? What's the downside?
Because I like to go out and have fun.
Okay, let's step back for a minute then, because we're going to talk about this again. You like to go out and have fun. So the equivalent to that, because you're not allowed to go to bars, so you can't publicly drink because that's even a bigger risk. So what you're doing is you're going and purchasing alcohol on your own. You drive it over to your friend's house, who pisses you off, who clearly takes advantage of you, drinks your beer, then has you go home, and you're risking your life and everyone else's life by driving home. You're risking your job. You're risking your financial future because getting a DUI is not a cheap thing. You're going to go to jail.
Yeah, I know.
You're going to have to deal with that. You're going to have to deal with the fines, the additional classes you're going to have to take, all kinds of shit. And who knows? If that would not have been your first DUI, then the penalty is just going to get even more than that from there.
Yeah, but you like a bad boy. You told me you like a bad boy.
When?
In one of our conversations, you like a bad boy.
Is that why you drink every night?
No, but I just don't want you disappointed in me.
So you're saying that you want to drink because in my eyes, you're thinking that in my eyes, that makes you a bad boy.
Yeah.
So then you go and do it when every single consequence in the world is up against you.
Yeah, I know it's stupid.
Well, how is that worth it, though? Somebody that you don't even know, really.
Maybe that tells you how much I want to get to know you.
Well, that's
Fuck off,
ridiculous.
Lorne.
You should never
100%
put yourself
fuck
at
off.
risk for someone else like that.
So it's Debbie's fault if anything happens because, she apparently likes a bad boy.
It's the same thing he did with Ramona. Is he wants to put the responsibility onto them by saying, if you tell me not to do it, I'm not going to do it. Really what he's saying is, I want to do whatever I want, but I want to set it up to where if I do something wrong, I can blame you.
100%.
So the fact that he blames Debbie in this, it just really pisses me off.
Yep, and you go.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you go, Matt.
I was just going to bring it back to when they were talking about him drinking and driving. What really also pisses me off about that is when he talks about the only thing he ever had on his record was an OUI. In my opinion, that's a very serious crime. Like to drink, to drive drunk, that shows that you don't make very good decisions. So the fact that the only thing on your record, Lorne, was a DUI, that is irrelevant. But it also shows that you don't make very good choices. So that doesn't lessen. Like he tries to say that that's the worst thing I've ever done. So therefore, I did this worst thing, but it shouldn't matter.
Exactly, and he almost said that as if he thought that's what made them target him. Like they'd be going through and they found, all right, who we got, around Bowling Green or within the 200k radius. Oh, this guy's driven drunk. I bet you he would fuck a kid. Let's target him and try to make him do it. It's fucking crazy. And g'day, Victor Miller.
And not, like we said, not only are you putting yourself at risk, but you're putting everyone else at risk too when you're doing it.
That's my biggest fucking problem, is putting everybody else at risk. If I killed somebody, it would fucking kill me if I killed someone.
Yeah, well, it would kill them first. And then you'd be a big fucking crybaby after saying, oh, I didn't even mean to do it. I didn't want to.
No, I wouldn't get a chance to say that. I would kill myself right after.
Well, you know what? A lot of times people aren't successful doing that, and I guarantee you wouldn't be able to.
And I mean, this is such a stupid thing to say. Like, oh, I'd kill myself after. Like this, even if he did that, this guy wouldn't kill himself. Like if he hasn't killed himself yet after everything, he's not going to kill himself. And like he doesn't view things like that. He doesn't have that morality to go, I'm such a bad person, I can't live with myself. He thinks there's an excuse for everything he does.
Right, and it's the thing. And when he says he tried to by, I don't know, taking like 20 Advil PMs or something, like, and also he doesn't believe in suicide, so we know he would never do it. It's a myth to Lorne. It just doesn't exist.
Yeah, 100%.
So whatever you tried, you would just go to the hospital for a couple of days. They'd throw you out and put you in jail.
All the fucking drink with Tony. Jesus Christ.
Well, you're putting something
ahead. Fucking stupid on this shit.
Well, you're putting other stuff ahead of all of the consequences and things like that. You're putting something ahead of that, and I think probably is that you're lonely. You don't have any friends. Your family, they're off doing whatever. So you come home at night and you're by yourself. You just want to spend time with people. That's why being on the phone and stuff like that is really important to you, because you're lonely. You're breaking up again. Hello? I'm
trying.
Okay.
Debbie, come on. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can now. I couldn't before.
Okay. Well, I had to wait. I was waving my phone around because the signal in this area sucks. I don't want to be on the phone with just anybody. I want to be on the phone with someone that I give a shit about.
Right, I know, but I'm saying those are the things that are important to you. You're really lonely. And Tony's house is comfortable.
I know I love it here in Maine, but I know Maine is not really the state for me to be in because of the way that I like to interact with people.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Not really the way I like to live. I like to live this way, but I don't like to live this way. In fucking Washington State, I've never been so happy in my life as I was in Washington State.
Well, it's a little bit different.
Fucking awesome out there.
I'm sure it is. But I think it's a little bit different now because no matter where you go, your probation's going to follow you. So the way that... I might have to take a
fucking stupid class.
You probably will have to. Because the terms of your probation, you have to complete them. And if you go somewhere else, it's still... Yeah, I know, but you didn't pass it.
Here I am at the fucking... I've had to go through that class now. I got put in another class. I have to start all over again. I'm so fucking fed up with it. It's just fucking stupid. Sharon thinks it's fucking stupid. And Mom thinks it's stupid. They think they fucking put me through enough. I know they put me through enough.
Well, they're not the judges of that. I know that they're being supportive of you, but they're not the judges of determining what punishment is enough and what treatment is enough for you. I'm sure that if it was up to them, they would accept your tears and you're saying I'm sorry as enough.
Put my mom in front of my probation officer. My probation officer would get a mouthful.
Shut up, Lauren.
Okay, well,
this is just the same as like he just wants other people to fight his battles. Like when he tells somebody else to call this person for him and he'll stay on mute. Like when it's Winnie and Dan, he wants Winnie to call Dan and say I don't, like you or don't want to have sex with you. It's just people fighting Lauren's battles for him.
Yeah, absolutely. And like probation would give a fuck. I mean, I don't really think that that's what his parents think, like his mum thinks, because I don't think she really gives a fuck about him. Like she talked to him through what's the word, like, because she's her, oh my god, he's her son. Like, it's like, there's that obligation there, but not because she likes him or anything like that or agrees with what he's done. Like, she's hardly going to trot up to probation and be like, you leave my poor Lordy alone. He's done his time. Like, and even
he
if that
is
was,
my son,
that's it. And even if that was the case, that's not their decision. Like, it's not for them to decide when Lorne has paid back his debt. It's for the court, and they've decided he hasn't, especially because he won't engage in his sex offender class or, follow along with the terms of his probation. And g'day, Carlito and Cthulhu Luke.
I mean, you don't want your mom speaking for you either. That's kind of lame.
Yeah, I know. It's just funny because my mom knows me.
Your mom
knows me. Not Sharon doesn't do the same thing too.
There's a difference, though. Your mom thinks that she knows you, but she didn't know what you were doing to get you in that position. And that's a part of you too. The thing is that the true measure of someone is what they do when they think no one is watching. That's the true measure of someone. So they can know through experience and interacting with you, but they don't know you. Nobody can ever know what's in your mind and in your true feelings. Even if you express them, no one's ever going to know. And they have these deep, dark secrets just like you did. And yours just happened to get caught. And you're so fucking lucky that you got caught, Lorne. You are so fucking lucky.
Yeah, but I never had them thoughts before. When I got caught with NBC, I never had them fucking thoughts before.
What do you mean, thoughts before?
Anything I said in that dialogue, I never had them fucking thoughts before I started talking to that girl.
Well, he did because of the MySpace girl, and that's the only one we know about. So then another lie.
But before that, if I started talking to that decoy, I never had them fucking thoughts. I literally never had them fucking thoughts.
And further to that, even if we live inside his magical little world here, that he never had these thoughts before, well, it doesn't matter. It's like a murderer saying, I never killed anyone before after their first kill. Like, that doesn't change anything. You don't get your first kill free or, your first child rape free and, then your next one you're gone. Like, it's such a fucking bullshit thing to say.
No, I thought I ever had was fucking helping my family out. Fucking, I figured I was making a lot of money. Why can't I share with my brothers and sisters?
Okay, Joey,
because I was the youngest, and I fucking felt obligated that I should. Not realizing how much they fucking cared more about the money than they did me. That's how they were able to take advantage of me and fucking do that shit. And it got to the point where I couldn't handle it anymore, and fucking, that's when I fucking left. So I was down to my lowest, and I knew I was down to my lowest, and I fucking had to go. And I didn't know any other way to do it other than just leave.
You fled Maine, Lorne. You didn't leave Maine.
100%. He ripped someone off and he fled because he didn't want to face, the consequences of that action. And he says this all the time about Nashville, if I never lived Maine. Like, that doesn't change the thoughts he had. That doesn't change what he wanted to do. Like, he acts like when he drove through the Nashville state lines, all of a sudden he became a pedophile. And then he talks about the internet. I wouldn't have any problems. I didn't get on the internet. Well, no, that doesn't change anything. It means that if you never went on the internet, you would have been trying to do this, you know, with a real life. Well, not he has done it with real life people, but someone physically in person. Like, it doesn't have any impact.
The internet just made it easier for him.
100%. Yep. And yeah, Shin's Koala, good point. And Melissa, and Disney Girl, and Kimmy Kimmy Cocoa Puff. I mean, that's 5 that we know of. And like anything, like with any criminal, the crimes you find out about are hardly ever all of them, yeah? So, really good point.
Everybody paints Ralph, everybody used to paint Ralph as a perfect fucking picture until they finally learned a lot of shit from the fucking crap that he did to me. The fucking cocksucker doesn't even have the balls to come up and fucking talk to me. Yeah, at least my fucking sister apologized to me. At least Tony apologized to me.
What does that have to do with you getting caught?
In this thing?
Yeah.
There's the whole reason that I left me, and I didn't feel like anybody cared about me.
Right. I understand. Shit. I understand. And it sucks to have people take advantage. It absolutely does.
And I didn't understand that. I did everything I could to fucking try to help them, and I fucking didn't understand how they couldn't care back. Ugh. God, that fucking pissed me off so fucking much.
Yeah, I bet it did. But as far as you being on the internet and talking the way that you did to her,
I don't know. She made me feel like somebody cared. That was basically it. It wasn't even, I lost all track of it, and that she said she was 13. It's just fucking, somebody cared, and I wanted to care back.
DNA, yeah, that was Nikki.
Yeah, that's right. And this is, you know, I know this isn't news, but I really always feel like I need to point out, like, this is such bullshit. If his whole motivation for going on the internet was to find someone who cared about him, he wouldn't have cared if they were young, old, boy or girl, you know what I mean, male or female. That if he just wanted someone that cared about him, he would have cared to everyone. He almost proudly says he wasn't talking to the boys in there. And so why? If it was only about that, why wouldn't you talk to anyone? And then he says, "Oh, I lost track of her being 13." That's bullshit for 2 reasons. They reminded of you constantly. She reminded you constantly she was 13. There were so many conversations about, are you sure, you know, that you're okay with this, that he asked her because you're 13. And really, he celebrated the fact that she was 13. He constantly talked about how was school and all this kind of stuff. Like, that is such...
He loved it.
Yeah, he loved it. It is such bullshit. And you can't talk for that long, and every day, every single day, there was some reminder of how young she was. And so you can't talk for that long and say that. That excuse would never work in any circumstances, but the only time it would have any kind of credibility or any kind of slight traction is if they had, 2 sentences where, you know, she was like, "Oh, I'm 13," and then he said something else, and then he was like, "Oh, sorry, I just realised now you're 13. Okay, bye." You know what I mean? It's such bullshit. And it fucking pisses me off.
Yeah, he wouldn't have, on the phone calls, you know, call Jesse or Maria, you know, are there woods near your house? Why would you need to, you know that if you didn't know the person's age?
Exactly.
And I hate when he said, this isn't just a lapse in judgment, Lorne. It was a month-long thing. That's not one lapse in judgment. It's not like one of those guys that talk for 15 minutes and leave. And not that makes that okay, but that would be like a momentary lapse in judgment. But, you know, the thing that you do is fucked up. But Lorne, you planned it for a month. And when he says, you know, why did he plan it? He's like, "Oh, I didn't mean to." Yes, you did. It's never Lorne's fault for anything.
No, that's it. Like he acts like, you know, he was just out on a nice, you know, nightly stroll, walking past her house, and she was like, "Hey, mate, come in here." And so he walked in, like all of a sudden there was cameras everywhere, and he's like, "Whoa, what's going on? I didn't know you were 13." You know, like it's just fucking like it is bullshit, and it's offensive that he tries to push it. And g'day.
Well, we know
Scotty
Casey
B.
was.
You go.
Oh, sorry.
No.
I was just going to say, we know Casey was jumping up trying to get his attention. That's the reason why he came in.
Yeah, that's right. He was never going to go there if that didn't happen. You know, you could see how much he didn't want to go there with the way he was fucking giddily bounding up there and, you know, "Hey girl," and asking for a kiss, you know, because of course you ask for, you know, 13-year-olds that you don't want to have sex with, you always ask for a kiss, you know? That's just what happens, right?
It was on the cheek, Cornville. He wasn't asking for a lips kiss.
My bad. Which is fine, of course. You know, kiss as many kids on the cheek as you want. Obviously, I'm being sarcastic, and no one fucking clipped that, so I'm joking.
Already.
It's already done.
I hate that I had that fucking conversation, Debbie. I fucking hate that.
Good. I'm glad that you do.
There's no day that goes by that I don't know fucking think about that sting.
Good.
I'm so fucking tired of it. Because that's not the person I am. I'm fucking just so tired of it.
What I don't understand is when she did say that she was 13.
I should have just left her alone. I know.
Okay.
I know.
Okay.
I've been through years of this crap. I know.
Yeah, but it's not.
I don't.
It's not getting through because what you were just about to say was I don't know, and that's not.
I don't know why I did.
That's not a good enough answer. It's not. It's never going to be a good enough answer, and that's why you're still in the class. I talked to Winnie a lot about this because it was something that really bothered her, and she wanted to understand it. So we looked at the chat log. We talked about it. She had me listen to the phone calls that you had with the girl. She had me watch your part of the show. And you know, we're just kind of looking like how did it happen? And the one thing about the internet that I can tell you is that it allows people to be free because there are things that people aren't necessarily going to be comfortable with talking about openly. So
and what Lorne
if someone's
wanted to
into
do and
something,
feel
if they
free
have
doing
some
was
kind
talk
of
to a child.
100%. Yep, absolutely.
Fetish, they're not going to be necessarily comfortable. They might be embarrassed. They might be scared of saying it. So one of the best things to do is to go online and you can find people who are interested in the same thing. You can talk about it, and I don't know, it's somehow going to make you feel better. And the other thing is that, you know, doing it that way, it's so much less scary. Because if somebody makes
night, James Dean. Thanks for being here, mate. Have a good night.
fun of you, or if they just say, "Oh, you're disgusting," and they leave, it's like, okay, well, at least it wasn't to my face. I can just block them, turn it off, no big deal. And I think that's why you were okay with talking to Kayla, because there was something that you liked, and it wasn't just this person was showing that they cared about me. Because Lorne, you were talking essentially to yourself.
I weren't going to go there. I was never going to go to meet her.
Okay. So, but even before then, even before getting there to meet her.
It was that night that I went there. That's when I went to Walmart and I bought the condoms. And I bought the bracelet.
Because you were going to go there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it wasn't till I left to go there that I bought the condom and the bracelets. So I'm innocent. Yeah, you bought them because you needed them where you were going.
That's right. He bought them in the same transaction that he bought her the bracelet as the present, but he claims he's not going to go there. And I don't actually get what his point is, because then he goes on to say, oh, you know, I'd run out because, you know, he was such a male slut, you know, sleeping his way around Nashville. But if you were just going there to check in on her, why are you buying the condoms and the bracelet? Like, if you've run out, why is that the trip when you've spoken about how you don't know if you're going to have enough money to buy gas to get
money.
there and back? Condoms
exactly.
are the least of your issue then, unless you are needing them, you know, very shortly.
Like, it's like $15-$20 for a pack of condoms or whichever one he bought. You know, that's a lot of gas money. But exactly, if you weren't going to use them, then you would have used that money for gas. But no, you planned on using them.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I never planned on going there. I was
Okay,
supposed
but
to go out for my birthday that
before-
night.
And exactly, hey boo, he counted down the days like an advent calendar. 100%.
But before
With
That's
a
a very
friend.
topical reference.
Yep.
there was a length of time before that you guys were talking and building up to this thing, right?
Yeah.
It looked
I
to
know,
be a few weeks,
but
like a month.
Debbie, I want you to listen to me because I'm being completely honest with you.
I'm more than happy to
never-
listen to you.
I never planned on going there. I was supposed to go out with one of my friends that night because it was my birthday, and he was going to buy me drinks all night.
Mm-hmm.
I never planned on
That
going
may
out.
be true that they asked him to come out, but you know he would have been all giddy and say, no, I have a date tonight or something. Like he would have made some sort of retort that he couldn't go because he had other plans. And that other plan was to molest a child.
Yeah, and this story always I don't get it for a couple of reasons. I don't think so. I don't think he had this magical friend that was like, hey, come out, I'll buy you drinks all night and that kind of stuff. But even if that was the case, it actually makes his case worse, because essentially is what he's saying is that all he ever wanted basically was a friend. So here you've got this who's not only a friend, he's such a good friend that he's like, come out, Lorne, we want to celebrate your birthday. And to do that, we're going to buy your drinks all night. I mean that is a really good friend. That's not just a, hey, Lorne, great to see you, mate, associate. That's a really good friend. So this is apparently all he ever wanted. So there's apparently this person here that's going to do that for him, yet he went and saw this kid. So all this story is showing that he wanted to do it so fucking much, he let go of the one thing he's basically wanted all his life. I mean,
Right,
like,
he thought going there was better than going out and drinking.
That's right. So he's saying, I had this option to go out drinking with such a good friend that's going to buy me drinks all night, but I chose to go see this kid. That has made your story worse, yet you keep saying it. Fuck.
Out there, going there that night.
G'day, you
It
know.
was that night, right before I went there, that I bought the condoms and the bracelet, and then I went there.
Okay. So again, we're going to go backwards because I think we need to start at the beginning in order to understand this better. Okay. Can we do that?
Yeah, yes, we
Okay.
can.
Okay, great. So you ran into Kayla in the chat room, and you started to be really cute, like, oh, I'll talk to you. And
Okay, well, let me explain that to you. I really meant I'll talk to you because nobody else is talking to her. That's
Bullshit.
not bad.
Bullshit. She never said that. Like
Yep.
always, Lorne puts that onto the other person. What he said was, well, if nobody will talk to you, sweetie, I'll talk to you. And then they just moved right past it. She never said that. So, again, Lorne is just remembering things how he wants to. Just the same thing where he would show Mr. Penis every night. I know you want to see, your nightly look. Like, she never said she wanted to. Or, I know you don't want me to go to jail. He just puts those things on other people. So the fact that he says nobody would talk to her is bullshit because she never said it.
Absolutely. And he would have no way of knowing that, because if people were talking to her, they'd be talking in the DMs. But on top of that, I think that's a bit of an insight that he doesn't realise he's giving away, because he would know that not many people would be talking to her, because not many people would be wanting to talk to a 13-year-old. Like, he knows, even though he claims, basically everyone's a sex offender, they just haven't been caught yet, he knows deep down what he isn't right, and not everyone is like this. So he sees that 13-year-old in there, and he knows there's not going to be many people talking. That's why he opens with that.
Exactly.
Because he doesn't know it's a
knows.
decoy, so he thinks, he thinks that there's this girl in here, probably no one's talking to her because they're like, holy fuck, check out the kid in here. Either I'm not going to talk to them because I've got nothing in common with the kid, and B, this could well be a fucking, sting or something. So they're going to be leaving her the fuck alone. He knows that. So he goes in with, if this is a 13-year-old and this, handsome older man comes in and says, if no one talked to you, sweetheart, I'll talk to you. She's going to be like, yay. Fucker.
Exactly what Shin said. His second, third, and fourth line was the start of the grooming after he learned her age. He immediately went into the grooming process.
Exactly.
So it sounds like he wanted to go there, but I don't know. Lorne said he didn't.
Well, that's right. So I guess we have to take his word for it,
Nobody else was talking to her.
Okay. So you said hello. And then from there, you started to test the waters a little bit.
Yeah, but I didn't mean to.
Okay. That's where you're going to stop
Yes,
yourself. You're going to stop yourself right there, Lorne. Don't do this to yourself. You started to test the waters. And
I mean, how can you not mean to? Like, this isn't something, you can just accidentally do. Like, I mean, it's very deliberate. The things he said were very deliberate. And I mean, that's the thing. Like, Lorne isn't smart, but he has put a lot of effort into honing his grooming tactics. Like, he's put a lot of effort into this. And I think he almost thinks, well, and I think even some other people think, well, he's not that smart. But I mean, he can do things if he focuses on it. And it's all about, as Shin said, testing the waters. Or maybe Debbie just said that, testing the waters. It was little bit by little bit. It was like, okay, Alaska, has she seen anyone say perverted things in here? And then he just judges her reaction. If her reaction is like, gross, and I would never talk to them if they said that to me, he would pull back then, or maybe he would leave her entirely and look for another kid. But she was just kind of like, well, no, not really. And then he's like, would you like that kind of shit? And everything ends with an LOL, so that if it goes badly, he can say, I was just joking, precious. I don't really mean that. And look, but Shin's koala is right. We don't know what was going on inside his head, so shouldn't be judging him too harshly,
It's not like he put it down on paper, 400 of it, but
No.
we wouldn't know.
And that's what he hides behind. And it's either this call or another call where, like, he says to I think he's talking to Debbie, like, you don't know what's going on inside my head. And he hides behind that. And that's why he won't admit to what he is, because he thinks as long as I never actually verbalise, as long as I never say, yes, I am a pedophile, yes, I want to have sex with children, he can hide behind, I never meant to do it, it was all an accident, I was messed up at the time. And he just thinks, as long as I never admit that, I'll be fine. Which is why he says stuff like that.
And that's what crazy me is, Lorne, you already did your time in jail. If you just came out and said what you did, you would probably maybe start to heal and do the learning process of, wow, I was this person, I don't want to be this anymore. But he's already done his time. Does he think if he finally admits it, they're going to throw him in jail for another 10 years? Like, I think that's what he thinks, is like, if I admit it, then they'll probably throw me back in jail. Not exactly that, but he's already done his time. Come out and say it.
But I think this is his last good guy card in his mind. He thinks that if I hold on to this, no one can ever say, like, no one can be inside my head. No one can take away from that, I never meant to do this.
Right.
Which is nonsense. I mean, but he doesn't view the world the same way most people view the world. So he doesn't see that that's nonsense in my head. And Shin's Koala's just saying, has anyone seen Dave Lemonade's analysis of the chat log? It's amazing. So I haven't seen that. So I'm going to check that out. So, do you have a link, or if I just type in Dave Lemonade, is that just his channel name? Because I'm going to check that out. I'd be very keen to see more analysis of that document, that's what you call it.
You started asking her questions because really what you were after was conversation about sex. So if there was going to be someone who was going to have it with you, great. If they weren't into it, then you were going to bounce. So you started to test the waters, and she wasn't running away. She wasn't like, oh, I'm like, this is too scary. I have to go. And it just kept escalating. And that very same day, Lorne, it all went right to hell. And it would have turned into a personal hell for a child. I had watched an interview with someone who got caught in a sting, similar to yours. And one of the interesting things that I heard the interrogator say was, she asked him, do you know what this does to a child? To even show them a penis, to even talk about sex, do you know the damage that causes to a child? And that's the reason why I wanted to reverse a little bit from talking about the end point of where you showed up at the house, because the damage to Kayla started way before then.
And g'day, Andy Mayers and Rota's Chewed Tootsie. And, Tiffany makes a really good point in here where I think Lorne views that he's done nothing wrong because, when he got there, he didn't have sex with her because it wasn't real. So I think he views it that way. And I think he views, the damage would have been if he has had sex with her, because he said that before, like, because at one stage he says, I was glad I was caught because, I could have done a lot of damage. But as Tiffany says, the damage is already done. Like,
right, he doesn't understand that.
No, the damage was already, even though he never met MySpace Girl, he'd already damaged her with, the getting to see her naked, showing himself naked, all that kind of stuff, And on top of that, because a big part of his grooming process is isolating them from everyone they have, which is what he'd already done with Kayla, and what I am sure he had done with MySpace Girl. Sounds like she wasn't in the most supportive environment anyway, but whatever support she had, he would have removed.
And that's what's crazy. When he says those MySpace Girl and the other one, I can't remember the name, and Tiffany or Emma, whoever, talks to him about it, the first thing he always says is, yeah, they were having a hard time, with their family, which shows that he's going after these specific people because he knows that they're vulnerable. He thinks that him saying that means he's a good guy talking to them. It shows his grooming and his predatory patterns, but he's too stupid to understand that.
Exactly, and it's just really infuriating. And g'day Toad versus Ramen, and Rick Borum.
Did Winnie tell you that I know the damage?
And here we go.
She didn't, but I don't want to sort of go down a different road right now. I want to keep you here.
And listen to this. So she's basically said, look, that's a conversation for another time. And he brings it up another 2 or 3 times to get back to it, because this is his latest excuse. And look, like I've said, if this is a legitimate experience that he had, I even after everything's happened, I feel sorry for Lorne there, but I really don't believe it. And I'm not one to discredit people's stories of abuse and that at all. But I just it's hard to believe that it comes out this much later on, and it comes out at this point. I mean, and just so blasé, it's like, oh, did Winnie tell you I know the damage? Like that is very hard for me to ever believe.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I mean, I don't know how to say this, but if somebody does come out and say that that's happened to them, I obviously would believe them. So it's not necessarily I believe Lorne but until there's kind of evidence to the contrary, I don't know how to say it, but like I would believe that had happened. But if it didn't, it totally is. He was in class one day and one of the other predators said that, and he saw that it got sympathy. So now he's trying to use it in his life. But until there's evidence contrary, I would have to believe Lorne, because I wouldn't come out and just say that somebody who's gone through that thing is lying. Kind of like what you said, kind of in the same boat.
Yeah, but what he also misses is that's no excuse. Like it doesn't, and he throws it out there as if it's an excuse, as if Debbie was like, well, look, Lorne, I didn't realise you were abused as a child. That makes sense that you've gone on to try to abuse children. So don't worry about that, because it's never an excuse. Like it's never an excuse, and it's never going to hold up. I do know that it's a cycle. I do know that quite often people that are abused, obviously not all the time, but in scenarios, people that have done this, they will reveal that happened to them as a child, and it probably does have an impact, but it doesn't change anything. If this did happen to Lorne, it doesn't change anything he's done.
Because I feel like the I don't know answer is something really common for you, and then you say I don't know, and you shut down, and then you try to deflect it off into something else. So I think what's really going to help you...
No, I know the damage.
And I'm assuming that it has something to do with something that happened to you when you were a kid. And we can absolutely talk about that. I will be more than happy to. But I want to keep you here. I want to keep you in that moment when you were talking to Kayla for the very first time. I know for me...
Hey, 80s girl.
Yeah, g'day 80s girl. We sound so sweet, apparently. And g'day Mr. C.
Personally, if I were to be in a chat room and there was someone there who was 13 or 16 or whatever, somebody who is significantly younger, number one, I don't give a shit if nobody's talking to them. I have no interest in talking to them either. Number two, if that person contacted me and wanted to chat it up, I wouldn't talk to them. I don't have any interest. There's no common ground that I would have with someone of that age. Absolutely none. So I don't care.
I really never wanted to talk to her like that.
Okay. So...
I never wanted to be that way.
What way are you talking about? What's making you cry right now?
I never wanted to be sexual with her.
Okay. Why
I never
not?
meant for that to happen.
Okay. I don't want you to say I never meant or I didn't want to.
I've never wanted to be like that with a kid.
Okay.
I've never wanted to be like that.
Look, Hey Boo's just made a really good point in the chat, saying, do you think Lorne could fathom that all predators are pedophiles, but not all pedophiles are predators? And I do not think he can fathom that. And that is a really good point. I mean, there are a lot of people, there are a lot of pedophiles that have that attraction, but work damn hard to never, ever do anything to a child. They know it's wrong. They go to therapy. They put all measures in place to make sure it never happens. And that is what people like Lorne needed to do, but didn't do. I just really wanted to point that out. I thought that was a really valid point.
I always cared about kids. I've never fucking wanted it to be like that.
Okay, so now that you were, though, what I want to know is, how did that happen?
That's what I don't know. My only answer is because someone was carrying me, because that's what it was at the time.
Okay, wait a minute.
And that right there is bullshit too, because if that was the primary objective he had, was to have someone caring about him, as we said before, it wouldn't matter who that was caring about him. But if that was what he needed the most, he wouldn't have introduced any sexual shit, because he would have been afraid that would scare her off. If he was like, oh my God, I've had such a hard time, my family have fucked me over, I just need someone to be there for me to, at the end of the day be like, Lorne, I hope you had a good day. I hope you're feeling better. This kind of stuff. He wouldn't have wanted to introduce that because what if that scares her off? What if this one friend I've found in the world gets scared off if I try to bring sexual shit up? I mean, and that's an adult or a child. I mean, if you were an adult and you were having a conversation with an adult person and you really needed that because you're at a really low place, the last thing you'd be doing is bringing up sex. You're like, what happens if I bring that up? And they're like, fuck it, mate, I just thought we were friends, get fucked. And you've lost that person. So that is another load of shit. You have no idea how low I fucking felt.
Okay.
I mean, I fucking put everything up on my family and for what I thought was my best friend, Tony.
Okay.
And they acted like they never gave a shit.
Okay.
80s girl, you seem to know Lorne well, because that's exactly what is coming. And g'day, Horstus F. Dink MD, fantastic name. And Matt Ryan, I can't remember if I said hello to you.
I lost so fucking much because they didn't give a shit. And fucking
VA Hoss.
I just want to know that I fucking mattered to someone.
Okay. So my next question is, on that first day, before you knew that she could care about you, within a few minutes, how did it turn sexual? And why?
I don't know.
You have to answer. I want you to answer, Lorne. It's going to be so good for you.
Because I think that's the only way that I thought that she would stay caring about me.
But she'd only been speaking to you for a couple of minutes.
The same shit with Rhoda, like thinking that he has to introduce this sex talk in order to keep them. Like, I was going to keep Rhoda away from Gigi. She was going to go to the drugs, so I had to say those things. That
is
so stupid.
It is. It's stupid, and it's bullshit. And I'm glad you brought up Rhoda, because Rhoda's a lot of those Rhoda calls are hard to listen to, but it's the perfect example of how he hasn't changed one iota. Because yes, while Rhoda was technically 18, she was came across as a very young 18-year-old and came across as potentially even intellectually delayed. Will I say? In any case, a very vulnerable girl. And if he had changed at all, even if he was wanting to give the perception of change at all, he wouldn't have done anything. And if he was concerned about her going to Gigi, he would have told Winnie that. He would have told Debbie that. He would have told someone, say, hey, look, I've been talking to Rhoda. She's come on to me sexually, which obviously I, don't want anything to do with that. But she has mentioned, she's seen Gigi. We need to help her out. The answer was not to, not only have phone sex with her, but go into great depth about how we need to keep this from your mum. So he's learnt not a thing, and if he was ever in a situation over a vulnerable person, he would do exactly what he has always done.
100%.
Which is why I'm so glad he is on probation and will be for life.
So you've only said a couple of sentences like, hey,
G'day, Skelly
how
Kitten.
old are you? All that kind of stuff. I'll talk to you. No one's talking to you. Okay.
Yeah, what's the internet? What's the internet all about in chat rooms?
Hey, Kilroy.
It's all about fucking sex.
Okay, it's all about sex. So you picked a 13-year-old girl, and you started talking about sex. Me on that one. Okay, yeah, you have to.
Yeah,
be
like
reminded.
everybody's saying, Rhoda was very mentally stunted. Like she sounded like it. And Lorne knew exactly how to take advantage of her.
100%. Size of a beta bug. Hi, honey. Honey.
Because all the way up until this time, you are in denial. And I think maybe you have little glimpses of being able to say the truth.
I'm not in denial.
Okay, then don't be. Then answer the question.
Debbie, please listen to me too.
Please don't shut down. And I want you to answer the question, why did it happen? What was it that was exciting to you?
It wasn't exciting. It wasn't exciting. It's just someone was paying attention to me. And it wasn't somebody else. It wasn't for money. It was for me.
No, you had said that chat rooms are about sex. And you were talking to her.
Yeah, now, back then, that's not what I thought. Back then, that's not what I thought at all. Now is when I realized, okay, this shit's all about fucking sex. So he did fucking great. I've been caught up in all this fucking shit. So now I realize that all the internet is about is fucking sex.
And g'day, Gary Ito and Anna Rourke. And don't worry about being a bit late. We're still going for about 40 minutes, so all good. There's some time left. And Kilroy, got a couple more guests kind of in the queue, but certainly if you want to jump on, mate, hit me up and we will organise a time. I will put my email in the chat. Let me know if you don't have it. Cool.
Well, you created the sex between you and Kayla.
Yes, it was my fault. I'm not going to say that the whole thing weren't my fault, because it was. Because it would not have happened if I would not have been on the internet. It was my fault, and I know it.
Right.
I'm just so fucking ashamed of myself for all of it, because that's not the person I am.
That's
I'm
not the
disappointed
person
in
that
myself.
you
I'm
want
ashamed of
to be.
myself. No, it's not the person I want to be. It's not the person I even am. It's not the person I am to do shit like that.
But you did.
Yeah, I know I did, and I'm fucking. I can guarantee I paid more than anybody else has ever fucking paid for doing something like that.
No.
And you should.
No,
because you don't.
You got off so easy for what you did.
He did. He could have got it so much worse when you put in the fact that, like, if he fought the charges and they didn't waive, the attempt to produce CSAM, he could have got it so much worse. Like, I mean, guys like Shins and that would know better than me, but I reckon, he'd be looking at 20 years, that kind of thing, if they went ahead with that. And g'day, Door51.
You hate me, don't you?
I never said that I hated you. I'm sitting here talking to you. I want to try to help. I wanted to help you understand, because you've been through this.
You don't think I understand, and I do.
No, you don't.
I do. Just because I don't agree with what everybody says, because they don't have the feelings that I have. They don't know what I went through. They don't know what brought me there. I'll share with you what brought me there when I'm ready to share it with you. It's not that easy for me.
I understand that
it's
it's not
fucking
easy.
hard for me, Debbie.
I know, and that's what you have to go through. You cannot answer questions with "I don't know" and "I didn't want to." That doesn't work anymore.
But you can't expect me to pull the answers out of me. You're not going to get any more answers out of me than what I've told to the class.
Well, I'm not trying to pull answers out of you. I'm trying to get you to understand. You have to put a stop to this. This has been 11 years going on right now.
Yeah, no shit. I understand. I understand.
What
just
do
because
you
the
understand?
public does not understand, just because the public does not understand, doesn't mean that I have to explain to every. Doesn't mean that I have to explain to every soul in the United States or in the world.
Every soul in the United States is not asking you this question. I am.
And I want you to understand. I just don't want. I don't want you pulling out of me for wrong reasons.
What reason am I? Do you think that I want to sit here and talk about this? This is disgusting. This is sick shit that I never want to talk about, and here I am.
Yeah, no kidding. I don't want you trying to pull it out of me to fucking figure things out. This is what I'm used to. Yeah, this is what I'm used to. Because this is what Winnie did to me. Trying to fucking pull shit out of me for the sake of Xavier Von Erck. That disgusting fucking child monster.
You know what? If this is what you're going to do, then the conversation's over.
Oh, how did that become about?
Because you're not going to speak anymore about it. Why wouldn't it be over, Lorne?
Oh, Debbie, I'm sitting here being an indignant motherfucker. How did this happen? I thought, why would you not want to talk to me? I'm shocked.
Right now, you're getting angry?
I'm not, well, mention Xavier Von Erck, I'm going to get mad anyway, because he's a child molester.
Okay, you don't have to mention him.
As are you.
You're starting to go down a different road. And I think that's what happens a lot of times, because you get uncomfortable and you start looking around. Like what am I going to do? Who can I blame now?
See, when me and Winnie met, It's because she was trying to find out information for Xavier Von Erck.
Well,
And
aside
3
from
months
that,
later, she wouldn't give them any.
Amy A, he is such a beta. You know, a shame him and Joran never met so Joran could show him how to be an alpha. Maybe his life could have been different.
Information.
and then way down the road, I know that you guys were talking like this.
Hey,
and
not a
you
prince.
were talking about the chat log and stuff, and she was bringing it up to you because it really mattered to her. She has her own history that's really fucked up.
Yeah,
She's been abused like crazy, and to be able to talk to you about it is what's going to help her understand too. How can someone do this to me? And that's why she wanted to talk. And if this is what happens when someone tries to talk to you, and you shut down and you start getting pissed off, then it goes absolutely
I don't
nowhere.
mean to shut down. I don't mean to shut down. I don't want to shut down with you.
Okay. That's good.
But when I give you an answer, that's what the answer is. It's not like I'm hiding something.
But
I'm not hiding anything. I never wanted to go there. I never wanted to go there. I never wanted to be there. I'm telling you everything that was inside of me at the time. It's fucking... I really never wanted to fucking go there. I don't know why I said things I said. Because I never thought that I'd ever go to the fucking house. That's one reason why. And that's the only reason that I know. I never wanted to go there. Fuck, I've always cared about kids. Why I ever fucking went there, I don't know. I'm not gonna shut down on you. It's just fucking hard. It's so fucking hard for me to talk about this shit.
I know. And
I
that,
know
and
that's
that's
not the
why,
person I wanted to be.
that's why it's important for you to do it. Everyone has to go through the hard stuff. Everyone has to talk about the hard stuff, because when you don't, when you just push it aside, nothing ever gets resolved. And all I'm doing right now by pressing you is asking you to search for something better.
G'day, Kevin Muse. Yeah, you did. You did come in at at the worst part. Sorry, mate.
Because there's something inside of you that I know is better than this. It's surprising to me that you don't just say, yes, I did it because I wanted to, and I know that it's fucked up, but I didn't think that I was going to get caught.
I didn't want to. I never wanted to. I honestly never wanted to do that.
So then let me ask you this question. If you didn't want to, where did all the planning come in?
I don't know. It was along the way. Things I was thinking.
That's
okay,
usually
I don't
how
want her
planning
getting
works.
Exactly.
Well, that's basically all it was. She didn't want her getting in trouble. Didn't want to do. When I had the thought of going there, it's like, well, she's alone. And at least if I ride up by there, I can ride by the house, make sure that nobody's there hurting her. There's just all kinds of thoughts going through my mind. I never really.
Now, I want to address this because, A, that's obviously bullshit, because if his intention was to make sure no one was hurting her and she was okay with her parents' home, A, he would have said that over the phone, he would have said that in messages, he would have been like, hey, look, I'm really concerned that you're being so young and your parents aren't there, that kind of thing. But he was doing the exact opposite. He was arranging for the time that her parents would be gone. And what I think this comes from is, I think it's partly just an excuse he's made up down the track, but like he talks about, and he's talked about in other calls about how, you know, when he was going there, he was having second thoughts. He wasn't having second thoughts because in his mind, he had played this, you know, he'd done his shit all with all the deleting the archive. So he's like, okay, we've avoided the Yahoo police, we've avoided her parents finding out because she's been doing what I've told her and she's been doing her archive. So in his mind, the last hiccup for him is if he gets there and, you know, he's greeted by her dad or he's greeted by the police. So that's what he's like, okay. So that's why he does his drive-by. He drives past, comes back and goes, okay, no cop cars, check. And so he's thinking, what do I do if I walk into a scenario where they're there? And I think that's what he had in his head, is that if he walks in and Brad Moore's there going, what the fuck are you doing, you know, talking to my child? He'd be like, I heard you were going to be away. I was worried someone would be hurting with her, so I've just driven by to make sure she's okay, or if the cops were there. So, but that's not his actual what he's doing. That's his little excuse in his head because he thinks he's smarter than everyone. You know?
Right, or it's the thing where if you think that there's a child home alone, you would also call the police. I mean, he had her address. He could just say, look, there's this young child left home alone. But no, he was giddy in the phone calls. Oh, I was looking at the clock and I knew it's right around the time Kayla's parents were leaving. Like, he was so happy. Like,
that's right.
That whole day. It was probably the best day of his life up until about 8:30 p.m.
Absolutely. I mean, that call just before he goes, where he's in the shower and that, he couldn't be happier. Like, that's not someone that's having second thoughts. That's not someone that's worried about what he's doing. That's someone who's like, he couldn't, you know, he couldn't wait. But that's what's annoying. It's not. It's a fact that he's lying and he won't admit to it, and also his lies are stupid.
They planned on going there.
Here's the thing, Lorne, and I'm going to be perfectly honest. Everything that you're saying is what everyone else seems to say as well.
I don't care what everyone else seems to say.
But I'm pointing.
I know what those motherfuckers did.
I'm pointing something out to you.
Those motherfuckers have records of doing that shit. I don't.
Because you've been lucky.
I was 37.
Yes,
I turned 37.
You do have a record of it, Lorne.
That's right. You just were lucky not enough to get caught in that situation.
Fucking day.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a record of doing that shit.
There were a ton of people that didn't have a record.
Yeah, the only thing I had on my record was no UI.
Right.
I don't give a fuck about them. I know they have records of doing that shit.
Okay, but that's not what I'm talking about. So you have to let me finish.
So in this fuckhead's mind, with the ones he's talking about, the ones that had, you know, records of doing this before the most recent time they were caught and they're in the sex offenders class, is in his mind, the very first time they got caught, does he think they should have been able to say, I don't even have a record for doing this? And they'll turn around and go, well, fair enough, you don't. So we've marked you down as your first free rape. Off you go. Don't do it again, though.
Yeah, like if we go up and burn Lorne's trailer down, do we get, get out of... He would have to be fine with that, because we don't have any records of burning trailers down before.
You're exactly right. One. I mean, I was going to say, have you burnt down anything before or have a record of it? Because, we'll be sweet. We'll be sweet. I mean, shame to waste our first arson on Lorne, but it would be worth it, I guess.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that when someone's going to do something really fucked up and they know that it is, and they just pray to God no one's going to find out, is they start to think of justifications.
Of what?
Of justifications, how they're justifying what they're doing. So it's a really common thing for someone to say when they're confronted with something like this, that they say, I was just going to stop by because her parents weren't home and I wanted to make sure she was okay.
I'm looking for justification.
No, but I'm saying that's what it is. That's what it ends up being, is you start to point out things of like, okay, I know the type of person who would do this is a sick motherfucker. A sick person
Lorne, this whole
that I
call
would
is
hate
you
myself.
just trying to justify what you did. So the fact you said he's not looking for justification that might just be an example of another word that Lorne doesn't understand the meaning to, like anxious.
Exactly, it most likely is.
If I ever ran into him. But I'm not that guy. And here's the reason why. And then you can list off whatever, like, I wanted to make sure that she was okay because our parents left her home alone. And underneath those justifications that come from you hating that person is where you're going to find the truth. And the truth is, you wanted to go there. You wanted to have sex with her. And you didn't think that you were going to get caught because you did all kinds of things to make sure that that didn't happen. You made sure her parents weren't home. You wanted to double, triple check, like, who's around? Am I going to be safe here? I need to make sure that nobody sees me.
You're not going to pull that out of me.
Mm.
I'm not going to tell you anything that I know is the truth. You know, what I fucking know.
Go ahead and be in denial then. Go ahead and be in denial, Lorne.
And see, and you're completely going to go against me on it, regardless of what I say.
Yeah, but you
think you think I'm like all these other fucking people that go up and do this shit because it's their fucking fantasy and shit. And that's not what I was doing.
But it has
that's not the way I was, and that's not the way I am.
Hey?
I was just saying, yes, you were. He said it wasn't his fantasy. He wasn't doing that.
100%.
But clearly it was.
Yep.
Now.
It had to be your fantasy.
It was not my fantasy.
It had to be, Lorne.
Regardless of what I tell you, you're not believing me.
Here's the reason why I'm saying
I've never done this shit in my life. I have never done that shit before in my life.
I'm so happy to hear that. I'm so happy to hear that.
Oh, you sound out.
I am. I'm really happy that no one ever got hurt because of you.
I fucking love kids. I care about kids. I've always have ever since I was a kid.
Stop saying that, Lorne.
Yeah, you know, things you don't want to hear pedophiles say.
Yeah.
I've never wanted to hurt kids. I didn't want to do this shit. I didn't want to fucking do that shit when I did it.
I don't think you realized that you were going to hurt her. She was going along with it. She wasn't saying no to you. So you don't think of yourself as being a rapist or an abuser. I think a lot of times when people think of rape, they think of like the actual physically violent act of physical dominance, forcing someone to have sex and holding them down. I don't think you would have hurt her.
I know what it is. I know exactly what it is.
Okay, shut up. I know that you don't want to think about it. I know you don't want to think that you were the person who allowed that to happen.
Fucking sick of thinking about this shit.
Oh, here come the tears.
Yep, exactly. Nothing's worked, so let's try tears again.
There's nothing better than wrapping up a Sunday, you know, before going to work on Monday than listening to this pedophile cry.
Absolutely. And, you know, I know it goes without saying, but, like, Tiffany does such a good fucking job on this call. Like most calls, but, you know, just I love those things, like, you know, telling them to shut the fuck up. It's very therapeutic.
I know. I can't even imagine.
Mm.
And I'm really glad, you know, as much as it hurt you to go through that as far as being humiliated and all this stuff that followed, I'm really glad that Kayla wasn't real. And I think that you're glad too.
No.
I was just about to say I'm gonna wait for him to make the flip to being like all of a sudden stop crying and probably be mad here in a second.
Oh yeah, it's always a quick change.
I'm sure it's upsetting to be in this class and have to hear someone like that other guy you were talking about. And I want you to know that that's kind of what your answers have felt up until this point. Was the same thing as he's saying, oh, I was drunk. I'm not really responsible for that. That's not the guy who I am, whatever. But that's the guy that he is, and you hate him for that. You hate him. You see how disgusting he is. You see how he hurts somebody. Someone who's going to be damaged for the rest of their life.
And that ain't even the grossest fucking thing I've heard. You know, how it feels to go in the fucking class.
I bet.
You're not the victim of that class, Lorne.
No.
I hate when he does that. Like, oh, you should hear. It's so hard sitting there hearing what they have to say. Like, that's why you won't pass his class, Lorne, because you don't understand the point of that class.
No.
But the fact that he is trying to get sympathy for being a sex offender and having to go to that class is absolutely disgusting.
Absolutely. Like, it's crazy. Like, as if people should be like, oh, Lorne, I'm so sorry you have to go through that. Fuck.
Fucking son of a bitches.
Enjoy these
You have
tears,
no
guys.
fucking idea.
Enjoy this. You've all earned some, Lorne tears.
I bet. I bet it's really upsetting.
I'm so fucking tired of it.
I think maybe what the class or the counselors, whoever's running the show here, I think they're missing this from you. Because
I need Ellie back. I need to be able to talk to Ellie again. Fucker.
Who's Allie?
She was my counselor. I go to fucking Augusta to see Ellie and be able to talk a little about this shit.
Okay.
Ellie's beautiful, but she's married.
I hate when he does this.
This is so creepy.
Like, what does that have to do with anything? It always comes back to Lorne and sex and relationships. Why would that be the first thing you would say about the therapist that has to listen to you admit the crimes that you've committed?
Absolutely. What would it matter what they looked like? They are there to try to help you with your many issues.
And it comes down to just how Lorne with everybody. He thinks that once you sit down and listen to the bullshit about the mac and cheese and how Tony and his brother screwed him over about petty things, that you will feel sorry for him and that his therapist will eventually sleep with him. That's what he thinks. So that's why that's the first thing he brings up.
Absolutely. Like, it is so creepy. And then he goes to talk on about, about her husband and stuff. It's very fucking creepy.
Here to a cop, and she talked to me about her life, and oh my God, Ellie, she's so fucking perfect. Like you.
Well, there's nobody that's
maybe
perfect.
Maybe that's why I can talk to you. Yeah, no, there's nobody that's perfect. I know that for sure.
Hey, Asbury Brad.
Except you, Lorne.
Exactly.
I couldn't even open up to Winnie like I can you.
Well,
Ellie, I just fucking, I could let anything go with Ellie.
Yeah.
Hey, Lorne, did you bring Molly up to Allie?
Yeah, 100%. And this whole thing about, I can't open up to anyone, like I couldn't open up to Winnie like I can with you. Well, he couldn't open up to Ramona like he could to Casey. He couldn't open up to Casey like he could with Winnie. Then he couldn't open up to Debbie like he could with Jamie. Like, he just thinks this is, I don't know, chivalrous or something. Like, he thinks this is people hear that and go, oh my God, you depend on me so much. I must be with you.
Maybe you can talk to somebody so you can get back in there. I mean, there's a reason why you're not with her any longer.
It irritates the fuck out of me. People can't think that they fucking know somebody just by reading the record. They can't judge people.
We can talk about that another time. You're really upset. And I think what upset you, I know part of our conversation, but I think what upset you is what happened today at your test. So what was it that they asked you that you didn't pass?
If I had anything to drink.
And you said no?
Yeah, and I don't even drink that much.
But well, that wasn't their question.
That often.
That's not their question either.
I know. I'm ashamed of myself.
The question should really be, do you drink not that often and only over your friends and sometimes only drive drunk?
Exactly. I mean, it's their fault for not phrasing it correctly, really.
Right.
You know?
If they did, he would have passed this test.
Flying colours.
It's on the fucking contract that I wouldn't drink. And I did.
Okay. So did they have you sign another one?
Hey, tickle pea shivers.
No,
And
not
right in the
yet,
hand.
but I'm sure they're gonna. I'm positive they're gonna. I'm probably gonna have to kill another fucking breathalyzer thing around with me again.
You've had to do that before.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe that will be a good thing. That'll kind of stop the trigger of you wanting to go and buy beer and go over Tony's house and do things that are ultimately hurting you.
Well, sex about going over Tony's is
Exactly, Kathy Mack. The manipulation level is more outstanding. You believe to me means you seem to buy my bullshit. Now, see, when Joran did his fucking Lorne to English translation, this is the kind of shit he should have done, except for talking about fucking mahogany tables and whatever other bullshit he did. That's actual legitimate translation.
I like drinking with Tony, but I buy the beer, and shit like this fucking happens. It's like, I don't understand Wendy. She's what a fucking worthless piece of shit. She never used to be so fucking worthless. And all both of them do is just sit on their fucking asses.
This is where Lorne goes from Debbie asking him why you failed that question and like why you drink. He's 8 vortexes away now. He's just steering that ship the other way.
Yeah, so essentially he failed his class for breaking probation's rules. Not class, sorry. His lie detector test because Winnie and Tony sit on their ass all day. Not Winnie.
It makes
Wendy.
perfect sense.
Fucking hell.
Disability.
Well, they don't have to be a part of your life if you don't want them to be.
No, I don't. But I don't get over enough to fucking meet anyone else.
Okay, but it's still not
work,
helping you.
Because I work and I'm trying to fix this place up and fucking...
Right, but it's not helping you to go over there and do that because this is what happens to you.
Yeah, I know. Every time that I come back from there, it's like, you fucking son of a bitch. You didn't even offer me money towards the beer that we drank. Fucking pisses me off so goddamn much because he's done it for so many years.
Then don't bring them beer.
100%. Like, you know that's what they're doing. So have some responsibility and address that yourself. Or accept that that's the way it is. Accept that you're going to take them the way they are. And stop bitching about it.
That from happening.
When do you want me to solve it?
Right now. And it can't be about what I want, because this isn't about what I want.
Yeah, it can be.
But it's not. It has to be what you want. Because if you
I wanted to stop now.
Okay, good.
I wanted to stop now.
Then do that. Then stop it.
But I also want you to know that you already know I want you. The biggest part of the reason that I'll do everything in my life the way that I do it is probably because of you, because I want you. And I want to I want to make you happy, and I want to care about you. And then, I want my life to be based around you.
You know what makes me happy is to be surrounded by people who stand on their own 2 feet, make their own decisions, not based on other people. I'm going to do this to make you happy. People who are smart and make smart decisions. That's what makes me happy. That's who I surround myself with. And
what about money? What about money? I don't have money, Debbie. I am making good money.
Hey, that's right. She never said anything about money.
Good money now, and I bring in about $60,000 a year. You got my Social Security number. You've got access to every information about me.
But I never asked you about money. And it's interesting that money was something that you sort of point at other people and get pissed off at them for liking or thinking that it's important. But then you make it important
because that's what they did to. That's what happened to me in the past. My brother.
Okay.
Which I know you don't know about.
Oh.
No.
Unless Winnie told you about her. Him.
So you don't know about it, so I can spin it to where you would feel sympathy for me.
Absolutely.
No.
Him.
I would try to follow Winnie, but sometimes it wasn't very easy.
Yeah. Yeah, no kidding.
Okay, so.
But I know you like guys with money. That's why you were with Gigi.
Lorne, what are you trying to do here?
I'm just trying to tell you, you deserve a lot more what fucking Gigi could ever give you.
Of course I do. That's why he's not around. That's why he's not around.
Oh, wait a minute. You're on the phone with me. You can get into my phone and listen to my voicemails now.
Why?
It's like
Because
there's a walnut banging around in his head, and it like hits one wall, and I got to talk about this, and it hits the other wall, and he's got to talk about this.
It's so crazy.
Me too.
Why? For what?
Why?
Because I don't want to hide anything from you, and I want you to know what voicemails when he left me. And one of them concerns Gigi.
Okay. Well, I'm not really interested in listening to a voicemail right now. And
Okay.
who knows?
Well,
who knows what the hell she said, and who knows what's true or not? So I don't care.
I can trust me. I'm asking you to please trust me.
But I'm not listening to your voicemail right now. I only have a few minutes left.
Debbie, he's giving you all his trust.
That's right.
Before I go to dinner.
On your date.
Okay, whatever you say. I mean, I'm not confirming or denying anything. Because I already told you in our previous conversation that it was none of your business at this point. And you're trying to make it your business.
No, I'm going to keep my mouth shut.
Good.
Clearly you won't.
I know you love me.
No.
I'm not scared.
What? She has never
She
said
never
that.
said that.
Ever.
She's
Fuck.
said quite the opposite.
Exactly. She's made it very clear. Like that they are only friends and her only interest is helping him.
Okay, I also didn't say that. But...
What? What did you say?
I didn't say that.
I know.
Yeah. I mean,
when he told me you didn't,
Yeah.
you told that you have never told anybody that you love him, including her.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm just telling you that when he told me that you have never told anybody that you love me, including her.
I never told anybody that I loved you, including her.
Yeah.
So
that's
what
all
is
Winnie
she?
told me.
So what is she saying there then?
You never gotta tell me that you love me, regardless if I want you to or not.
Well, I would never tell anybody I love them because they want me to.
So
That
if
just shows how
if
fast
you did love,
Lorne is with the word love.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
He just said, if I want you to or not. So if he wants you to, you have to. Like, huh?
He just throws it around like it's nothing. You know what I mean? Like he tells people he loves them as it like the same way someone would ask someone if they want a coffee.
And also, whether or not Debbie has told Winnie if she loved her is none of your fucking business, Lorne.
Yeah, absolutely. That's their relationship.
Yeah. Of course I would.
Okay, because Winnie said that you have never that you don't say the words "I love you," and you have never said them to her.
Well, Winnie, that's my relationship with Winnie. Winnie was really difficult. And I
I know, but you still love her.
I have told her that I loved her. I've told her that many times.
I know your relationship with Winnie was really difficult.
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably the first person that knows that how difficult your relationship with Winnie was.
I'm the first person who knows that.
G'day, Jake.
Oh, yeah, I'm probably the second person.
Okay. And the relationship with you was never good.
Between me and Winnie?
No, between you and I.
Hey, somebody's
nobody. Yeah,
nobody.
no, I mean, between you and it wasn't at the time, no.
Right.
Because we didn't see eye to eye and things are not the same now as what they were then.
Okay.
I was in love with Winnie then.
Right.
And I'm sorry, but I can't take that away because I do love Winnie. I still love her. Am I in love with her? Am I in love with her like I was then? No.
Right.
Because I realize she can't change.
No, she can't.
She might want to change, but she can't change.
Sounds like someone I know.
And after talking to you and spending time with you, I don't want Winnie back. I don't want that in my life. I like the way you and I communicate. I love the way you and I communicate. I'm not stressed out. I'm not on edge of what the fuck did I do because I didn't even say anything.
Yeah.
I'm not worried. I'm not thinking about whose cock is she fucking feeling. You know,
Well, that's all
I know
you
you know
think
what I'm
about.
saying.
Like,
That is all you think about.
This is so stupid. I think I'm actually going to skip forward a few minutes. Like, I hate this part of the call. It's stupid. There's no point
Sure.
to that. Are you cool if I do that?
Yep, whatever you want. Dealer's choice.
Oops, I think I broke it. No.
Fucking
Leave
Cornville.
Roy out. I can't leave
Fine.
him out because he does
Fine.
so
Fine.
much.
Fine.
He's the-
You're repeating
he's the
yourself.
one-
Oh, this
he's
was
doing-
the part with the bills and giving Roy $100 a month.
Yeah. So that's right. So they basically just went through his bills, and he insists on giving Roy
Right.
$100 for basically nothing when he's got all these other debts, which is fucking stupid.
You're repeating yourself.
Can't pay Betty back.
Yeah, but he's
I don't.
the
no,
one living
no,
with
no,
mom
no,
right now.
No, don't care.
Well, you will care if you listen to me. He's the one living with mom right now, and he helps mom out a lot.
Fantastic. That's amazing.
So please care, just because it's mom.
Ugh.
No, I don't care.
And this constantly forcing them onto his mum, like as if, you know, I mean, they're not even in a relationship. They're barely friends, but she has to care about his mum. Who gives a fuck about your mum? Like, it's so weird.
Well, $100 a month is not going to kill me. I've got to look out for him.
Yes, it will.
You've got virtually no money, and you owe so much.
Fine, look out for him, but look out for other people too that you fuck over.
I am not going to fuck over
Exactly.
anyone. I don't want to fuck over anyone.
I don't want to.
Whatever you say,
sure
my money has to go.
Doesn't want to do a lot of things he does.
That's right, but he thinks that's excuses, so it doesn't matter what he does, as long as he didn't want to do it, it doesn't change anything.
Oh, that's where it's going to go. But
I mean, you know, earlier in the call he was talking about if he's drunk driving and he kills someone and, oh, I'd hate myself and I'd kill myself and all this shit, which is all bullshit because he's a fucking narcissistic prick. But he would be the kind of guy that he would do that and he'd go up and, you know, tell the grieving parents or the grieving widow or whatever about, oh, I never wanted to be this person, you know, and he'd think that they'd be like, it's okay, I understand that you didn't want to be this. I don't, you know, I feel much better now about my missing loved one because you didn't want to do this.
you've got to include the $100 for Roy.
If that's going to get everyone else that you fuck over their money back, fantastic. Give it to Roy.
I'm not fucking over anyone. I want to pay everything I owe.
Fantastic.
Then do it.
Do that.
100%.
And stop your bullshit about buying beer and cigarettes and sheetrock and fucking light switches and lights to go over a mirror in some master fucking bathroom and a motherfucking trailer that's about to fall down.
It's not going to fall down because I'm rebuilding it. I don't want you to. I don't want you to be in a shitty place.
She's
Don't
not coming.
worry about me. Worry about your
When did
obligation.
she say she was coming?
That's right, and I mean, this is the least of his concerns. If it ever got to a point where, you know, Debbie overlooked all of your faults and everything and was like, okay, I'm going to come down, worry about your shithole then. But at the moment, that has nothing to do with Debbie. It's not a concern. But
I can't remember if it's this.
Sorry, mate.
I was just going to say, I can't remember if it's this call or not, but he literally says he's not going to pay, like, his electric or something because he wants to buy sheetrock to put down. Like, what?
It is
He
this
just-
call. It is this call. It's crazy.
okay.
And as
That
Shin
is
says,
insane to me.
he's just trying to play house and make final decisions financial decisions with his wife. That's all this is. He just wants to feel like they're disconnected.
Your attention is like totally misdirected. It needs to be focused. Like, okay, is my house standing right now? Can I live in it? Great. Do I have food that I have to have for myself and for my dogs? Great. Do I have electricity and water? Amazing. From there, you start to build on things like your car and your insurance that you're obligated to have, of course, and gas in order to get places where you need to go.
Oh, I gotta tell you. I forgot to tell you.
What?
Except for this month, starting May 3rd, $180 of my money goes into my credit union account every week, which I'm not sure how we're gonna work this. I have to make us up some money somewhere along the way to get it the right amount. This is what I've had problems figuring out. So how am I gonna get to match up so that the right amount is in my account when my car payment's due, when my insurance is due. But right now, I've got Jennifer, I had her put $180 going into my credit union account so that come time to pay my car payment, it would be in there. And my insurance. My insurance is due on the 10th. My car payment is due on the 17th. So I have to call the car place and let them know it's not going to be due until like the 19th, I think. Yeah, the 19th.
They're not going to like that.
Well, they weren't bad on it before because they let me make payments on one payment that I didn't pay. That I called and talked to them and said, listen, I can't pay this payment this month because I've had to pay other payments. Can I work something out? And they said, yeah. They said, let's work out a payment where you pay your car payment plus pay X amount. How much would you like to try to pay and how much across would you like to pay it? So I said, well, let's do my car payment plus $100 plus. So it's like $690 for the next 3 months, I think.
This is just stupid.
Plus $100 plus. Like I'm sure that the car dealership was pissed. Like,
yeah.
I mean, his payment is astronomical to begin with, but they're just going to slap on interest and fees and stuff. So he's like, oh, well, they let me do it last time. Well, I'm sure they're like, Mr. Armstrong, like, you need to make this payment. So, per our contract or whatever, you owe us this much more money. And he's like, oh, okay, well, I can do it over 6 months or whatever. This is why his finances are an absolute mess.
That's it. And essentially, basically, he's pushed his luck there before, and they tolerated it, so why not do it again?
Right.
Whereas
Exactly.
a normal person will go, okay, I've been really fortunate here that they're prepared to work with me and give me a bit more rope here. I need to put in steps to make sure I fix this. But not Lorne.
This won't happen again.
That's right. Fucker.
I'm sorry.
And g'day, freak face.
Man, your finances are just like a giant shithole.
I am sorry.
Oh my God.
Fucking
And he
hell.
thinks this is cute.
I tell you,
I
I
know.
love
That's
you.
why he's laughing like this.
I know,
Like,
she's...
I'm just, it's just me. I'm Lorne. Isn't this funny? You're laughing because you think it's funny, not that you think it's, awful and that I'm a terrible person.
No, like, she's literally saying, you are such a fuck up that she's basically lost for words. Like, she doesn't even know how to express what a fuck up is, and he's laughing and giggling like as if this is some cute little lovers tiff they're having or something.
I am so sorry.
No, you're not.
I wanted to tell you that before, but we hadn't had a chance to talk, so I'm like, oh, I'm going to have to spring it on her at some point.
Jesus. All right. Well, I'm sure we're gonna have a moment to talk about some things in reference to your money. I want to help you figure that out because I'm really concerned.
I'm not concerned.
You should be too.
I'm not.
Because Lorne, you're living in this really unrealistic financial world. You're taking on things that you can't afford, and you're kind of shuffling money around to be like, okay, who can I screw over this month?
No, I can afford it.
No, you can't.
I can afford it.
No, you
can't,
can't.
because
No,
if you
can't.
could, you wouldn't have missed that payment. You wouldn't have stopped paying your electricity for those months. You know that it's way too much. Like you're completely creating a shitstorm that you're not going to be able to get out of some point, and you're going to have to file bankruptcy.
I'm not doing that again.
All right.
Done that once.
Well,
Listen, I gotta go.
You really wouldn't be able to. You'd be destroyed at that point.
Absolutely.
Though.
I know you got a
I have
date.
to get going. So
K-bye 'em.
you
Come on,
have a
K-bye 'em.
great rest of your night. And yeah, go fuck yourself, okay?
Oh, that's even better.
I love that ending. I love that ending.
I was waiting for the K-bye, but go fuck yourself is so much better.
It is so good. It is such a good... I love that call, and it is such a good ending to that call. Sadface09 says, would it be a correct assumption that he's looking for a young mother figure because he's been spoon-fed all his life? Yeah, I mean, I think he's looking for anything, but I think this is a big part, and I think others have said it as well. Like, he's looking to someone to replace his mum when she goes, which surely it can't be too far off.
Just like...
You go.
I was just going to say, I was just laughing, just like Shin said, that he's calling up the electric company arguing that he needs to pay Roy so he can't pay his electric. I just find that image so funny.
Absolutely. They'll be like, who the fuck is Roy? We don't care about
Right?
Roy. But I gotta pay Roy, he's such a hard worker. Fucking idiot. So guys, I'm actually out of time, so I can't get to the Lorne Reality Show like we have been finishing with, but I do promise 2 Lorne Reality Shows on the next stream to make up for that. So look, this has been a lot of fun. I've really had a great time with you, Winnie's boyfriend / husband, and I hope you have too. And I hope you'll come back for another stream in the future because this has been great.
Oh, absolutely. Anytime. Like you said before, it's funny this community's built on one of the worst people that's ever lived, but I love this community, so I really appreciate the invite and everybody in the chat. I had a great night.
Awesome, mate. Thank you. And look, thank you to everyone in the chat. You guys are the ones that make this community. You guys are the ones that make streams like this fun and basically have me looking forward to the next one as soon as, this one is finished. So look, thanks very much. Of course, don't forget to delete your archives. And I'll be streaming again in a couple of days and with another very special guest, which I will let you know through the schedule. So, good night, guys. Thanks very much.
Good night, everybody. Thanks, Cornville.
No, anytime, mate. Thank you.